Welcome to the stream, my friends. We are back. I hope you guys are ready for some sweet screen blocker action to kick off the stream. But nonetheless, I am in spectator mode, so I don't actually have to use screen blockers today, which is great, all jokes aside. And the first match of the day is going to be Tank of Clan VM facing off against A Move Hacker, who is currently playing under Hataraku. Hataraku. Seems to be something perhaps relating to some sort of a, I don't know, it sounds Japanese, but I'm not really sure where it's from. So my friends, welcome to the stream, another King of the Hill. Hopefully you guys are ready. We have a pretty solid list of players today. We have Tank, A Move Hacker, Protocol Wire, Jungle Man, Flying Taco, Faust, Zyphos, a Rubber Duck of War, Maple Killer, and Willow 6669 closing out the stream. And of course, when it does get to the last person on the stream, if they do win their game, they can continue to play basically until they lose. So I have people in reserve and people who are ready to play to be the closers basically. So that's the name of the game. First match is going to be Vampire Counts. Tank, of course, is a Vampire Count main. We've seen him play very well in tough matchups. I believe he did ban the Lizard Men, and it might have been Tomb Kings. I can't quite remember his second ban. Maybe it was Norska? It was one of those factions with like a lot of big scary monsters, which of course can fight against the Gooses pretty well. So Tank is Vampires. A Move Hacker is going to be on the Dark Elves, and just because I'm extremely paranoid now, I'm going to minimize and check and make sure that we do not have a glorious blocker up right now. All right, closing everything just to get it out of the way here. And yes, no blocker. Life is good. Can hang out with you guys in chat. Welcome. Hopefully this will help you guys get through your Friday night. Not that Friday's a hard day to get through, but you know, we're doing it. We're having some fun. This weekend, tomorrow is Lady Turin's birthday. We're going to be going to a wolf sanctuary. So we're going somewhere in kind of central California. There's a little mountain range where they have rescued wolves. So we're going to go hang out with a bunch of wolves because she loves animals. So it's going to be fun. Then on Sunday, we might do a stream on Sunday. It depends. Sunday, we might be doing the ECL Grand Finals round of 8. Because again, the first of the ECL streams is going to be done through replays. So essentially, it doesn't matter. I can do it at any time. So probably do that Sunday morning, like around 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It'll be pretty quick, though, since it is replays. There's not going to be any army picking or anything like that. So it'll be a quick stream, more or less. And then the Grand Finals will be a couple weeks after that with the 4 remaining players. So again, welcome to the stream, guys. Pleasure to have you guys here. We're doing it to it. Players are loading in. Let me go ahead and open up all the stream features. It is her birthday, indeed. All right, so we're pulling this up right now. Well, tomorrow it's her birthday. We're going to go pet a bunch of wolves. Sounds like fun. So pulling up Streamlabs so I can see all your messages a little bit more efficiently. And all is good in the realm. Perfect. Yeah, thank you guys for the wishes. Hadries says, I need to put the blocker up, it's missing. Well, Hadries, perhaps I will. If you guys are so inclined to watch another battle, I'll even make sure it's a big enough blocker so that you guys can't see anything. It'll just be so big that you only see the periphery. You guys will have to watch the battle through the mini-map up in the corner here. Like, imagine the blocker just has the whole screen except this, and you have to like just kind of assume what's happening based on these little dots. All right, guys, so for the Army of Tank here, let's take a look. Front line is going to be Zombie Chaff, which is, pretty standard if you are going to go with a Mortis Engine. The Mortis Engine can basically win infantry fights, so. The Mortis Engine, Zombies. Secondary line is going to be Graveguard with great weapons. So, another Dark Elf strategy against vampires is a box. A box of sorts. Basically, you use Blackguard and elite troops, and you just kind of hold, and you use your other tools to kind of focus down some of the bigger threats. So, Graveguard with great weapons with their buffs recently. I believe they got like 2 weapon strength overall, which is pretty big. They're very good against the Dark Elf boxes. On top of that, you just have a couple of Crypt Horrors, I think, or just one group. I actually really like Horrors. They have good mass, so they can pin down cav charges. They can hold back monsters. They have poison. I don't like to have more than 2, but I think having 1 or 2 is pretty nice in most armies. We have a White King as well, and Heinrich Kemmler getting ready to drop the fat base with Krell. And skeletons in the back, 2 Vargulfs, and it looks like it's going to be some Blood Knights on the far side. It's a very solid army from Tank. I love it. It's pretty dynamic. Has monstrous threats. It has a Mortis Engine to win infantry fights. Obviously, a little bit susceptible to some missile play and kite, because the Mortis Engine, of course, can be shot down with missiles, as can the Vargulfs, and some of the only pressure tools are the Blood Knights here, but still, I think it's a really good force. Really, really solid. And for the Dark Elves here, let's take a look. Black Arc Corsairs with handbows are going to be the option to try and shut down the Mortis Engines, but I'm a little bit concerned with this army, because I feel like it doesn't have enough to kill the big monsters. Yes, the Black Arc Corsair handbows can put some pressure on them, but it's not going to like nuke them. And I don't think the elite infantry are going to stand up very well against the Mortis Engine play. But again, that's just my early predictions. Blades of the Blood Queen here. We do also have Marathi, which is a really good choice. And that actually could change the dynamic because, of course, she lowers the melee attack of everything nearby by like 18. So Graveguard with great weapons are going to have 8 melee attack. You know, it's pretty big. On top of that, we do also have a Canade Assassin, the Sisters of Singing Doom and the Rampage. So for example, if the Witch Elves can Rampage a Vargulf, he can catch it out in the open, use the Assassin and Marathi to take it out. That would be a huge boon for him. So I mean, certainly decent army. I like it. So here you have the Slaanesha's Harvesters facing down with the Knights of Aborash. Aborash, is that how you say his name? I think it is. The Knights of the Red Keep here. We have the Blood Knights waiting to do battle. Obviously, in a straight-up fight, the Blood Knights would be very favored here because of the low armor of the Slaanesha's Harvesters and also, you know, the lack of AP on the Harvesters. But again, Harvesters do have some witchcraft and magic. They're more of like a utility unit, but still very powerful in combat. You can see they have magic damage. So against like ghostly units, if there were some, like a Banshee, it does give you something to deal with magical units. The Vampire Guerrillas are going to be surging forward now. Blackheart Corsair is probably going to get some shots. It looks like Tank is trying to bait this out. Oh, he's actually going to go in and try and whack Marathi here. He's going in for the double 1-2 punch. Oh no, and Marathi takes a lot of damage. A bit of a misplay there from A-Move Hacker. Marathi already down to, oh man, she just got gorilla pounded by those guys. Those Vargulfs are just going in deep. And it's going to force a panic here. You can see that the Harvesters are going to have to come in. I don't know what Marathi was thinking there. Those Vargulfs were pissed. They had their charge bonus, and they're out for blood. It's a very good start here for Tank. I mean, it couldn't get much better. Although this is going to be a really good Soul Stealer, actually. It's going to hit everything. It's going to hit the Blood Knights. It's going to hit the Mortis Engine, you know, the elite troops here, the Grave Guard. That was a really good response there. And of course, it will heal Marathi. Not going to be full health, but it's still a good start. So now the frontline fighting's underway. The Blood Knights were hit, of course, and taking some damage. So that was a really good play by A-Move, considering he took such a gorilla pounding here in the front. And now these Vampire troops here, the Vargulfs, are going to be going in and basically just spanking the Blades of the Blood Queen, which is great. They don't have anti-large. They're not going to be particularly good against the Gorillas. And also there's Graveguard with great weapon supporting. Now, we do have a blob fight here, so you can see another Soul Stealer is going down from the Harvesters. Actually quite good, and you can see the Vampire forces here are taking some pretty massive damage. Honestly, it's been very, very solid. And it looks like is that a Winds of Death? Who is casting that? No way, that's, oh, a Winds of Death coming down. And is it going to go through these ladies here? Oh my god, the Winds of Death tears through the Sisters of Singing Doom. And you never see that. So the Winds of Death comes in, it shreks the Sisters of Singing Doom, and then it also hits these Slaanesha's Harvesters like an absolute truck, goes through some of the Black Guard, and that is like honestly probably a game-winning play here from the Vampires. Still though, it's still up for grabs. The Manticore Summon coming in, if he can kill the Mortis Engine, that would be certainly a path back to victory here, potential victory. You can see a Scab Scraith going down as well from the White King. It is an activatable item. And it looks like Marathi's going to be charging back in. Hopefully she has another Soul Stealer for her sake soon. She could drop that in the Mortis Engine, try and finish it off. But it looks like Marathi's Shank is doing enough damage. Vargulfs are coming in to try and salvage the Mortis Engine, but it looks like the Mortis Engine, despite getting an Invocation, probably is going to be going down here. It's taking a lot of damage, and down goes the Mortis Engine. Very, very good stuff there. So that's a good start for the Vampire Counts to get back in the game. As far as what they have left, the Blades of the Blood Queen are still here. There's still some fairly healthy Black Guard, and these Blood Knights are a little bit trapped up in the Black Guard. So Tank definitely needs to pull them back and get them away here from the Black Guard, because that's a pretty unfortunate situation. Krell is being kited. He's kind of just chasing over here, and it looks like another Soul Stealer may be going down. Although I think Marathi might have got knocked over. She's still here. Marathi's got to be lurking somewhere. She can't be dead yet. I think this is her right here. No, that's the Canade Assassin. Marathi might have just been taken out, actually. The Gorillas might have been able to just take her to town. No, she's right over here. No, man. I guess Marathi's gone. So Marathi might have been taken out by all the vampires here, but you can see Heinrich Kemmler might be following in suit. The Manticore Summon, very good pressure here, but the Canade Assassin is gone. Heinrich Kemmler is stable binding. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. And isn't Heinrich Kemmler immortal? Like, it just occurred to me. He does have the crumbling mechanic, if I'm not mistaken. Shouldn't he be like, isn't he a mortal character? Like, is he actually undead? Or is it because he's like the Lich Master that he has those attributes? Anyways, here the Gorilla is doing the most work this game, though, by far. The Vargulfs here are able to pound out the Sorceress of Beasts. I think both Manticore Summons have already been used, so I don't think there's going to be too much more punch here, but despite the fact that A-Move took some serious brutal beatings early in the game, he's done a pretty good job clawing his way back and making it a long game here, but I still think the Vampire Counts are going to take this one. The Vargulfs are just such bullies. They're doing such a great job, and there wasn't enough to really deal with them. I mean, 2 of the Corsair handbows, but the Winds of Death was really nasty. It did so much damage, and it's a big investment. Like, if Winds of Death doesn't pay off, it can really lose you the game as a Vampire Count player, simply because it costs like 22 wins, I think, like basic cast. And, you know, from there, you're not going to have your Invocations, your Raised Deads. You have to wait a lot of time to get the mana for that back. That was a great play. So Tank is going to be the current King of the Hill. Well played to him. Let's go ahead and update the scorecard here. Krell is basically just chasing. So Tank is the current champ with the 1 victory. Next up on our list, we have a Protocol Wired. If you're watching, please join up. I'll, of course, tag you in the Discord as well. Tank, our vampire man, is coming in here, doing some fine work. And we'll keep it rolling. Great, so let me go ahead and tag him. All right. Protocol, you're up. So he will join in just a moment. And we'll switch it. So how it works from here on out is Tank gets to pick and ban one, so he'll probably just pick vampires again. It's kind of cool to see like players play their main faction and see who can defeat them. So we'll do Pillar of Bone next. GG, well played. That Winds of Death was a thing of beauty, I must admit. Quite gorgeous. Thank you guys again for joining. GG indeed. Krell was just chasing the Corsair Handbows the entire time. Protocol wired. Let me see if he's on my friends list. I basically have to cycle my friends list quite often. It's really annoying. I don't know. And people play under different names than the names they sign up with sometimes, so it's a little bit tricky, but we'll find it here. See if he appears on the list. I'm not seeing him yet. How many bans I have? One now. So you pick and ban one. So he bans lizards. He's like, I don't want to play lizards. I don't blame him. Yeah, lizards are scary. And the password, of course, is in there. All right. Protocol shall be joining. Here we go. I know you guys want the screen blocker, all right? I know you want it, but it's only for special occasions. Like when I'm having something, a stream that I'm working very hard on, that I really care about, that I want to be good, that's when the screen blocker comes, just to ruin my day. It can't be on like, more casual streams. It has to be on like the big ones. When there's like sponsors and, everything is important and, all that sort of stuff. All right, so Tank is coming in with the vampire counts once again, banning lizards, so Protocol Wired can play anyone except the lizardmen, which I'm sure he's fine with. There's plenty of answers for the vampire counts among other factions. Pone. I do have you on the list, Pone, in case we finish quickly. We can keep going down and playing with folks who were in the reserve. Shidoku, he did not sign up today. I basically just put out a call in my tournament Discord for 10 players. Last time we had like 16 and it went almost like 5 hours, and I was like, I'd like to keep it around 2 or 3, so we're capping it at 10 today. Hey, there he is. The man, the myth, the legend. So he banned lizardmen. Anyone else is open. All right, so Tank going to be on the counts. We'll see if we can have a vampire count showcase today. I know a lot of people say the vampire counts kind of aren't great now, but I honestly think they're really good still. Now, of course, they have a couple of bad matchups, but for the most part, vampire count specialists can usually do very well, regardless of the matchup. And they have some cool playstyles, too. I really like that, like Footlords are making a comeback. Yeah. Swarvia. Tank, I demand skeletons. I probably will have nightmares of screen blockers. Yeah, Swarv is Wareja, yeah. If I'm not mistaken. Somebody told me that. I don't know if it's true or not, but... I hope we see a Dawi mirror. No, Hadries, stop. Stop with your witchcraft. Protocol's going to go Norska, which is a good choice. I think Norska has some really good tools here. And we're on Pillar of Bone here for this map. So Tank is the current king of the hill. Of course, we've seen Tank represent the vampire counts in a couple of faction wars. Usually the go-to for the vampire counts because he's really good at them. And there's not too many vampire count mains, really. There's only a handful, or maybe a couple I can even think of. Maybe just him. Like, I don't know any other person who would claim to be a vampire count main. Yeah, crazy stuff. Protocol wired shall be coming in. Protocol had a nice run last time. He actually was able to do, I think he defeated someone. He won 2 in a row, I think. Well, because the last King of the Hill, we had no one get past like 3 games. Except in the very end, we had someone just barely do it. It was wild. So Protocol is here. He's playing Norska. Norska has some pretty good tools here against the vampire counts, I think. Dawi versus Dawi, Dwarf Warriors only. Oh my god, that would be the worst. You know what the worst matchup would be, though? Like the worst one to watch? Loopy, stop. No count mirrors, please. Oh yeah, Tank's really good on vampire counts. I think the worst would be like an all Ironbreaker matchup. You just have like 2 full stacks of Ironbreakers with like a Rune Lord, like in the middle of them, and just like buffing them. Pone used to be a vampire count main. Yeah, well, Pone, I'm glad to hear you're interested in playing some Total War again. XMT Uncle Gant is a vampire count main. All right, hey, we're hearing it now. This is good to know. So Protocol is ready. Wired. Protocol wired. Protocol tank wired. The tank is almost ready as well. I'm sure he's making the final tweaks on his army. We will ready up here as the players do indeed load in. Thank you guys so much for joining again today. Again, hopefully we can help you get through your Fridays. Friday's not a day, like I said, you really need help to get through. But yeah, it's going to be a fun run. Excited. I'm going to be trying to do more streams at least 2 during the week and 1 during the weekends. I want to stream at least 3 times a week. I think it's really fun. So streaming is my favorite thing, to be honest. And I was kind of wondering, like, how people on the channel would, like, what people prefer, live streams or the replays. I mean, I guess the answer for most people would probably be a combination of both. But at times I've thought about becoming like a full-time streamer, basically, where, I mean, I'll do a couple of replays, but for the most part, I just stream every single day. I don't know. I feel like YouTube, in terms of its search algorithm, what I've noticed is that when I put up more streams, YouTube, I don't grow as fast. It seems like YouTube favors like uploaded videos as opposed to sharing stream VODs, from my anecdotal experience. So that's kind of the precarious thing about YouTube, but I don't know, just a thought. All right, guys, battle is here. Vampire counts against Norska, Tank, the current king of the hill. We got a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord up in the sky with the Helm of Discord, of course, very standard stuff. A Necromancer on foot, a White King, and the White King does have Scab Scrape, and he does also have a Corpse Cart, just the cheapest one, basically. It looks like the 250 Corpse Cart, which is pretty good for buffing up Graveguard and those type of troops. Now for his infantry, it looks like he's got zombies mixed with Graveguard. So the Graveguard are really good against Norska. They have a bonus for his infantry. They're heavily armored, so they deal with Berserkers very, very efficiently. And yeah, just a decent choice. On top of that, we do have some more Blood Knights. Blood Knights, of course, very good against some of the Famir, Skinwolf type characters, and can really rear charge and just crumple infantry formations if played correctly. So I really like this army so far. It's quite good. Protocol's army, let's take a look. He's got Berserkers in the front line. Of course, Berserkers are quite good at cutting through chaff. They will struggle against the armor of the Graveguard, but of course, if there's a giant angry mammoth running amok, that can help. And of course, Famir. Famir will sunder the armor of the Graveguard down to 60, making the Berserkers a lot more effective, which I like quite a bit. And they're also good against like Blood Knights if they can get some support from infantry and can beat down big monsters. So he does have a couple of Famir. You just got to watch out for the leadership on these guys. It's quite poor. So they can get broken off. So he does have the Burning Head pirate ship combo, or the long ship, or whatever you guys want to call it. It's very strong. Basically, you use the Sea Fang to cut through the Graveguard and the chaff, and use the Burning Head to do the same thing. If you overcast it, it's really, really powerful. 2 groups of Marauder Hunters with javelins and 2 spears in the back to protect those bad boys, and that is going to be it. So I think this Norscan army is very solid. It's probably pretty darn close to what I would pick in this matchup. A little bit different, perhaps, but I like to sometimes go with Marauder Champions in the front line. I feel like they're a little bit more durable and give you some staying power, but Berserkers are probably more meta, and honestly, Norscan mains would probably tell you that Berserkers are better. I don't know, though. Hard to say. I really do like Marauder Champs. They have great leadership. And it looks like there were some Cryptors as well, so honestly, his build is pretty similar to his last one. I mean, it has some nuances. Obviously, the Lord is much different. Heinrich Kemmler probably wouldn't be up to the task of battling a mammoth, so in this case, he had to bring a big, scary Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. So here come the Blood Knights. It looks like they're going to be doing a big old overload. I mean, there's a free charge here on these Marauders. They could just like slam the base into these guys or into the Berserkers if they want to. Granted, it's a little bit risky because of the Famir, so charging the Berserkers is too much. So here comes the first charge. Blood Knight's able to lance down a bunch of unfortunate Norscan Marauders and will immediately pull back without losing anything and doing huge damage, actually. Looks like they took out about 14 models there and did some good HP damage. And he could charge into the Berserkers here. Honestly, might not be a bad idea. I mean, the Famir are there, but I feel like he might be able to chip the flank a little bit. So in the meantime, he does drop some zombies on the spears back here. So I think he dropped the zombies on the spears to free up the pressure here. Maybe on the Marauder Hunters with javelins at some point during the battle. So he's trying to pull the Norskins away. This is a very, very clever tactic. Basically, he's pulling these guys back to create separation from the javelins in the back, which is very, very smart. In the meantime, Blood Knights are going to just charge onto the Berserkers, and the other Blood Knights get a pretty flush charge here on the Famir, as do the Cryptors, and this is going to be really nasty. I mean, this is a great play here by Tank. So Sea Fang's coming down, though. This is oh, that Sea Fang is nice. Look at that. It goes right through the Graveguard and the overcasted Burning Head. So even though the Famir do get trapped up, he's able to get some really good value right back. The Graveguard take massive damage. The Famir do as well, and the Blood Knights are also taking a lot. So that was a pretty even trade, I would say, in total. I mean, one group of Famir for all those AoE spells. Granted, some resources have been spent here by Wulfric, and the Hunter of Champions has been activated on the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. It looks like the Famir were attacking the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, and the Mammoth is now going to be coming in as well. So Tank certainly got to be careful. Oh no, the Bale Fiend's coming in as well. The Bale Fiend, oh, gets punted though, and takes a ton of damage, and some of the Blood Knights are screaming in here as well, which will be quite helpful, but it looks like Norska has a lot of stuff left, and the battle is very, very pitched here. So the Blood Knight's going to be bouncing into the back, going after the Marauder Hunters with javelins, but if Tank were to lose his Blood Dragon Vampire Lord here, that would be pretty disastrous for sure. Granted, it looks like he's moving up and away this direction to kind of go in sync here with the Blood Knights, using a zombie summon to tar pit the advancing units. So some very heavy damage taken from both sides. Norska did lose a group of Famir outright, which is a very huge tool for him. But again, Norska did respond very well and was able to do some substantial damage here to the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. And the Blood Knights are in good shape though. Oh man, an overcast looks like it does hurt that Blood Dragon Lord. Oh, and a Fireball coming in as well. Fireball direct hit, really nice. I don't know how that Famir drew that angle, but somehow he did. That was a thing of beauty right there. In the distance, you can see some of the Graveguard are winning their fights against the Brutes of the Hound, just showing how truly effective Graveguard are against Berserkers if they can beat those elite RORs. And the Blood Knights are still running amok. That is certainly going to be one of the more powerful tools here for the Vampires. If the Blood Knights can kind of just circle around, isolate units, do some great work, and maybe over the course of the battle, if the Blood Dragon Lord can heal up. But honestly, as it looks now, I would say that Norska is in a slightly dominant position. It seems like the Vampires, with their Lord being that beat up and Wulfric being that healthy, are going to be in a bit of a tricky pickle. It's really going to require Tank to get some good Blood Knight engagements and just charge down some of these loose units. And over here you can see he's doing exactly that. He's using the Blood Knights in a safe fight to rout off some spears, which he can then chase off with zombies or anything else really. And now he's going to be pulling these Blood Knights over here, chasing off some Berserkers. He's opting to play a very conservative game while allowing his White King and other troops to fight here. So the pirate ship Sea Fang does come down, or the long Viking ship, whatever. I know some people are like, it's a long ship, not a pirate ship, but it's a pirate ship. So the Graveguard here do get hit with another one of those juicy Sea Fangs. And now you can see Wulfric is going to be coming back into engage. And it looks like the Vampire Core is in a very, very dicey situation. Scab's Graith coming down. Blood Knight's going to be coming in. A very nice charge, of course. Going to be clearing up some of these javelins. Some of the Norskins being lanced pretty hard there by the Knights of Red Keep. And they'll probably break, although how are they still confident? Yeah, they're at 20 leadership right now. They should be shaking and wavering here in a moment. And the Blood Dragon Lord is healing up. And of course, a very conservative play here from Tank, making sure not to lose his Lord. And as far as the main battle goes, he still has the White King going. He has the Crypt Horrors. The Corpse Guard probably going to be taken out here. And the Necromancer probably is going to be following in suit. But that's a nice zombie summon right there on top of the Javelins. If he can like break off all the Javelins and then chase them off with his Knights, that would be a very, very power play. Serious power play is what I meant to say. Marauder Hunters with the Javelins are down to 4 leadership. Breath Attack coming in. And that goes right into the Balefiend. Pretty nice. It looks like it does wreck some of the spears as well. The White King is just beelining for the Balefiend to get rid of some of the fire magic. And it looks like there's going to be a fire spell right here, which hits some zombies, also makes some topical impact here on the Graveguard, but I think Protocol probably did that just because he figured he was going to be losing his Balefiend, so it's just kind of an instant, just get it out of there, just have some fun, let's cast it. But it looks like the White King a little bit surrounded here. There are some Fimir, but only 3 of them. And the Blood Knights actually have a pretty flush charge here. They can get a charge into the Fimir, into the Balefiend. Wulfric, of course, is nearby, but I think it might be worth it to try and free up that White King and keep him from being beaten down, but we'll see what he opts to do. So the Blood Knights are pulling back. Really good Blood Knight play. He's been able to claw this game back to a contestable game, because before, it was looking pretty Norskin favored early in the match. Still a lot of Graveguard. It looks like another Sea Fang's going to be going down, and where's that one going to go? Nice Sea Fang. Does go through, but it looks like it was just slightly mistimed. It could have been a little bit more flush there, but Blood Knights do charge in, and the Fimir will probably break. That's a lot of shock damage. -5 leadership. The White King might be stabilized, but Wulfric's really good at killing things like White Kings. You can see the White King here is very, very low. He's down to 1100. Tank really needs to keep that guy alive, for sure. He's being very patient, just letting his Blood Dragon Vampire Lord kind of pick up some Winds of Magic, but eventually he's going to have to go in for the Death Thrust, that's for sure. So there's also a full health group of Fimir with great weapons here. Ooh, that is nasty. Those are some tough boys right there. Some Berserkers are coming back in. Looks like Tank might go in with the Blood Dragon Lord. I believe he does have the Hunger, so he could also do that. Breath Attack coming in. I'm not sure where that one was going. It looks like it hit mostly his Graveguard. I probably would have opted to fly over the top of the Balefiend and just breathe down on his head and maybe take him out. Oh, it was actually going after Fimir. Okay, that was a pretty good one. Ended up hitting the mass. I didn't quite see the Fimir here, but it looks like it ended up doing some good HP damage. So some of the Berserkers that have come back in are being engaged on by the Blood Knights. Bounce of Power is pretty much dead even at this point. But it looks like the zombie troops and the Graveguard are pretty much on their last legs here. The Balefiend unfortunately does overcast and hurt himself. Looks like he was opting to do maybe like a fireball or something, and he does break. Oh, that's pretty bad. Man, I can't believe Tank is scrapping this game back. His Blood Knight play is so good. So the Blood Knight's coming in. You can see the Fimir Balefiend here is running for the hills, which pretty much means it's doomed, as the Blood Knights should probably chase that bad boy down, because if the Balefiend does come back and has enough for fireballs, the fireballs could be a game winner against the the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. So chasing down that Balefiend, I think, is of the utmost important here for Tank. A couple Berserkers still fighting, or a couple, I mean one. The lone Berserker here, let's see how he does. Oh, that's pretty heavy metal. He just cleaves that zombie. Let's see how he does against his Graveguard here. The Graveguard comes in, the Berserker laughs in his face and cleaves him back, but I don't know how long he's going to last. I feel like this is the tale we should watch. Oh, he gets trampled by some Blood Knights. Korn wills him to get back up as far as his HP goes. He does have 32, so we'll see that one guy. Oh no, and the Fireball comes in and hits the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord up in the sky. Somehow that Balefiend was allowed to come back. But the Blood Knights have something to say about that. They are going to Shrek him into the Shadow Realm. The Balefiend is a large target, so the Blood Knights will indeed get their anti-large. Oh man, this could be big! Oh, but Tank sees it. That could have been really big. Like, the balance is very heavily vampire favored, but if like a Burning Head had roasted those guys, maybe. And it looks like he burns himself and discourages himself, so the Blood Dragon, the Fimir Balefiend just breaks on his own. Hunter of Champions does go off. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is able to get back up in the sky. Some zombies and Graveguard here are still going, and it looks like that Lone Berserker, very anticlimactic, is just lanced down by the Blood Knights of Red Keep. So Norsk has some troops coming back. They have the Femir Warriors. They have some spears, but I don't think Tank is going to let those guys come back, and the Blood Knights are going in for the Death Thrust now. They're going to be charging in against the Mammoth, and I would imagine they'll take a frontal charge, at which point the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord will fly from behind, popping the Helm of Discord to lower its stats, and probably is going to butter the bread of Wulfric, and that will probably be game blouses, as Wulfric is not happy about this, and man, the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, it's hard, heart piercing, and all those goodies popped. Well played, man. Protocol played a great game, I have to say. Very, very impressive. He's playing one of the better Vampire Count players out there, and he almost had that. It was just a Blood Knight play in the end, was really able to clean it up and pull that game out. So very well played to those two fine players. An excellent showing. And let's go ahead and update the scorecard. Tank is currently up 2 wins, our current leader. And next up on our list, let's take a look. We have Jungle Man. The Jungle Man. Let's get him in here. It's a pretty great name. I wonder what the history is. You're up. All right, so here comes the Jungle Man. Tank continues his reign of terror here. Well played. GG, well played. That was a really well played game. Both those guys played it very tight, so big props to them. We'll do a Vampire Count map in honor of the Vampire Count play here. So the Jungle Man is on the way. Thank you guys again for joining today. We have a donation coming in from Major Moolah with the Major Moolah with the fiber. He said, "Let the good times roll." Hey, Major Moolah, thank you so much for the fiber. Do appreciate it. Is that your Major Moolah? I have to ask you, is that your actual cat in the picture that you have there? Looks like quite a majestic creature, to say the least. That was a really good game. That was a really good game. So Zyphos is saying that the fireball was overcasted, which means that there's a chance that if it overcasts, it knocks you over or staggers you, and then the missile doesn't go off. So that's what happened there at the end, I think. Yeah. That was a really good game. A really good game indeed. All right. Jungle Man is here. So Tank is going to stay with vampires. He's banning lizards. Jungle Man picks. Jungle pick. We are on Schwarzhofen. And I'm going to get some water. Got to stay hydrated, my friends. Could be a long stream. If it goes quicker than expected, we're at the 30-minute mark. So honestly, if we keep going at a good pace, I could open it up to the players on the wait list also. We'll see, though. We'll see. The Blood Knight play was really good, though. That was some solid stuff. He was able to really scrap it back. He was behind the bounce of power. That initial Sea Fang plus Burning Head really wrecked his Graveguard. Looks like Dark Elves maybe from Jungle Man. Hard to say. Jungle Man appears to have a capybara, like one of those creatures is his picture. And I think Tank has the Gears of War. I think that's a skull from Gears of War, if I remember correctly. I used to play that game in college a lot. So the ECL Finals, I'll make an announcement tomorrow, but most likely it's going to be Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for round 1, the round of 8 of the ECL Finals. And then the Grand Finals will be after that, depending on who makes it through. I am the Skrill Bob. I am very good. Thank you for asking, man. Today we're just streaming. We're having some fun with you guys and just enjoying life. Just enjoying life. So he's going Dark Elves again. So we saw someone try and beat Tank with Dark Elves. And the advantage that Jungle Man has is he was able to watch Tank's game, hopefully, and take notes of his build. So now he has an opportunity to perhaps counterplay Tank's build a little bit. But again, you know, the king, heavy is the head that wears the crown. So there always is a bit of a disadvantage. You know, the king only gets one ban, and then the other person gets basically a smorgasbord of factions to counterpick them with. So, but Tank, you know, clearly very comfortable here with the vampires. Floco Motion, thanks for all the content. I don't play Total War Warhammer 2, but I watch all your videos. Love the breakdowns and passion. Thank you, man. Glad to hear that. And if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I always look at that every week. I'm like surprised at how many people who watch my videos who aren't subscribed. So again, it does help out. I hate asking for stuff like that, but you know, this is my job. Gotta do it sometimes. Not Hadri's wants to see the fish Hydra. He wants to see the mighty Charybdis. Yes. Hopefully not a crushing defeat this time. Yeah, I think Jungle Man played Tank last time and had a tough game, but we'll see if Jungle Man has adapted his training in the wilds. We'll see if they paid off. And I'm going to go grab some more water. I'll be right back, my friends. Lady Turin and I have been preparing for the well, not preparing, but experiencing the preparation. Man, it's crazy with the all the fears going around about pandemic. It's like you can't even find hand sanitizer in the stores anymore, which is fun. I mean, hand soap works just as well, and nobody buys that. But it's just crazy. Yeah, it's got to become Mad Max. We're going to be like riding on like ramshackle buggies and wearing like post-apoc gear soon. Oh man, Wookiee is going to be like on top playing the guitar. Fury Road was so good. I loved that movie, the Mad Max Fury Road. Tournaments without elves are the best. Fear not, my friends, elves are coming. So after this, we have Flying Taco, we have Faust, Xiphos, a Rubber Duck of War, Maple Killer, and then Willow 6669. And of course, we have a couple people on the waitlist as well. Let's take a look. On the waitlist, we have Lycus, Undertaker, Professor Pun, Random Nix, Hadrius, and Decoli. In case we finish really quick. We're going Mad Max. Not the Chaps version. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty nuts. I mean, Lady Turn, I've seen people like hoarding groceries and like things like that, and I'm like, part of me is like, I don't know. It's a weird situation to be in, yeah. It's like, this day and age. But the Mad Max scenario would be pretty interesting. But for Mad Max to truly happen, you have to really go full apocalypse for that, because that's like water shortages, nuclear radiation, like ozone layer being dissipated. So there's just scorching heat and desert everywhere, and like limited supplies from the days of old. Mad Max is truly like another layer of it. All right, minimizing real quick to make sure I didn't leave up a screen blocker. I'm literally so paranoid. Thunderdome, yeah. Yeah, Fury Road was great. I love that movie. The soundtrack was so intense and good, and the guitar playing guy on the War Wagon was so good. Oh man, it had a really good soundtrack, and like it's so intense. That was like, I think, like of the past like I don't know 10, 15 years, that movie was probably one of the best non-stop adrenaline rushes. Like it's just so intense and so good. And like looking at the behind the scenes of that filming, it's pretty awesome. So players are loading in here. We'll see if the Jungle Man has learned a couple new tricks since last time they did battle. So let's find out. So Tank actually does change his build. Oh, Tank changed it. Look at this. He's going with the double black coach. So Tank is such a vampire count specialist that perhaps he adapts his builds depending on who he's playing. He's got 2 black coaches. He's got a corpse cart. And it looks like a White King plus a Necromancer, and also up in the sky he does have a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. Very, very cool stuff. Zombies into the Sunset with Skeleton Warrior, so no Graveguard this time. He doesn't even bother with that. Blood Knights, and it looks like Blood Knights. So going with some very elite cav as he does. Up in the sky we have a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord and a bunch of Fellbats, and that's pretty much it. Pretty cool army, very different. Double black coach, guys. The big, thick black coach coming in. And for Jungle Man, we have the Crows of Cain. We do also have a Black Dragon and Marathi. So the Air Force here for the Vampires is pretty... Not Vampires, for the Dark Elves probably can defeat Tank's Air Force, which could be a way to win the game, perhaps. Granted, he still has to deal with the Blood Knights and some of these other tools, and arguably Tank could probably use his Fellbats to just tar pit these guys and then land his Blood Dragon Vampire Lord on the ground, therefore forcing these guys to come fight Blood Knights. So we'll see, but Marathi's a great choice, as is the Black Dragon and some Harpies. Up on the hill, he has some elite troops, some spears, some Coldman Knights, it looks like, as well as Slaanesha's Harvesters. So very cool armies for both players. Good luck, have fun. Good sportsmanship all around, what I like to see. We'll see how this battle goes. So Tank is the current king of the hill, winning his first 2 games. Second one was very hotly contested. I mean, both of them were, but the second one, man, he was on the ropes and he clawed that one back. So we'll see if the mighty Jungle Man, the man of the jungle, will he be able to overcome the Tank, the Russian? We will see. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord up in the sky, of course, very bloodthirsty. He does have the Helm of Discord, so Fellbat swarming here. I mean, I don't think it'd be a good fight for the Blood Dragon Lord. Marathi lowering his melee attack down to, a relatively manageable amount would be quite strong. And Black Dragons are pretty strong to boot. 520, a little bit less overall than the Blood Dragon Lord, but yeah, I mean, still, it's not, doesn't have like a legendary or a Lord riding on top of it. Excuse me, guys. Battle's underway here. I'm drinking sparkly water, so it's a little bit carbonated here. So what he's going to do, Tank will probably use the Fellbats to just target these guys and then just try and close the distance with the main fight, because once the Blood Dragon Lord can land on the ground, he can then get some support from the Blood Knights and some of these other tools. And it looks like Jungle Man might be opting to go for a fight here. He's got the Crows of Cain, and it looks like he's flying over. He's teasing it. It would be interesting. I mean, he would probably lose it, but with the Soul Stealer and like a good breath attack, maybe something good could happen against all those Blood Knights. But again, Invocation could counterplay the Soul Stealer somewhat well. So the Blood Dragon Lord is chasing in. I definitely think that Jungle Man should be pressuring the Blood Dragon Lord a little bit, kind of forcing him to squeal and run and, get away from the main fight. Because he does have this superior air force. Where he's losing the fight is on the ground. He has much more invested in the air. Marathi, a Black Dragon, these Crows of Cain, they're all pretty expensive units. So, I mean, he could just go in and Shrek these Fellbats real quick, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea, but Fellbats are really quick. They have 110 speed, and nothing here except Marathi, I think, can catch them. Marathi has 105, so she could potentially close the distance, but it's going to be tough. So far, Jungle Man playing a very cautious game, but the Black Coach is going to come in and start riding into his Dread Spears. They are braced, and the Cold Moon Knights are going to be countercharging, so good play so far, but oh no, Tank gets a beautiful breath attack, and Jungle Man eats it. Oh man, those Blackguard just got wrecked. In the meantime, the Wand of Crydon is coming down, and you can see here the Cold Moon Knights do get the countercharge, so even though Tank did get that good play here, Jungle Man able to respond really well. Actually, getting that Black Coach down to half health is really nice this early in the battle, but he needs to pull back ASAP. Yeah, if he gets like countercharged by the Blood Knights, that would be an absolute disaster. So here we have the Blood Dragon Lord. He's going to be going on the ground because he knows it's dangerous to fight up in the sky. He pops in, but, he's in a bit of a precarious situation. I mean, Marathi's here, there's a Black Dragon here. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is taking a lot of damage. But, if Jungle Man can screen out the Blood Knights using all these spears and halberds, and with all of Marathi's debuffs, this might be a fight that's actually a little bit better for the Jungle Man, especially considering a lot of Tank's army isn't even here yet. So in the meantime, Blood Dragon Vampire Lord Helm of Discord is activated, or it just came off cooldown, or it came off activation. The Blood Knights do have the Van Hell's Dance Kebab. They're going to be pulling back. Some damage did go through, but the Blood Knights, for the most part, are in okay shape. But I would actually say that engagement went a little bit better for the Jungle Man. He also gets a really good Soul Stealer at the end, which hits all of those guys, healing up pretty much all the damage that Marathi took. And that was really good. Nice play there. So yeah, the Blackguard did take a breath attack, but the forces of Tank here also took quite a bit of damage. And now comes the rest of the army. It looks like in the back something is trapped up. One of the Black Coaches here is actually in some trouble, guys. This is not good. And the Blood Knights don't really have a direct route. I mean, they have to go up and around, and this Black Coach is just going to be going down. So the Jungle Man is not playing around here, guys. Able to get the Black Coach. That is a huge play. Up in the sky here, the Crows of Cain are also tarp hitting the Blood Dragon Lord, and it looks like Marathi and the Black Dragon might be coming for blood here, as the Helabroni, the chillest of all the spears in the realm, are going to be engaging against this ground force here. They probably will lose this, but they're going to hold for quite some time. Up in the sky, of course, the Crows of Cain still going, but the Blood Dragon Lord doing a good job, and it looks like Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma being dropped here. Breath attack attempt from the Black Dragon over on the far side does go after the Skeleton Spears. And so far, I would say that the balance of power is most certainly in the favor here of the Dark Elves, who still have a fair amount of the Black Guard left. Up in the sky, ooh, it looks like a Scab Scraith as well going down the Dread Spears, and here comes the Black Dragon. So the Black Dragon is going to be going in, and, this Blood Dragon Lord's in a bit of a dicey situation once again. You can see he's down to about 3,700. The Black Dragon is pretty healthy. Crows of Cain are terrified, but they probably should come back. There are some Fellbats here, so maybe with the Fellbat distraction, depending on what's on cooldown here, Invocation coming in as well, which is going to be hitting the Blood Knights on the ground below. He still has one Black Coach. But where's Marathi? If Marathi could get away from this fight over here, come back up and help in the fight here against the Blood Dragon Lord. Ooh, but a Soul Stealer is going down, and it looks like it hit everything again. Man, really good Soul Stealers this game. It's able to hit the Blood Dragon Lord, but it looks like the Black Dragon is slowly losing this fight. Obviously, the Blood Dragon Lord is a pretty insane duelist. But the Wand of Crydon does come down as well. Von Hell's Dance Kebab going to be giving him 76 melee attack, and the Black Coach is charging through and doing some very good damage here against the Black Guard. In the meantime, though, Black Dragon going to be running away from the Blood Dragon Lord, starting to lose that fight. A big misplay here, in my opinion. Huge misplay. He lands amongst Blood Knights and basically just gets followed up on here by the Blood Dragon Lord. That was a massive misplay. Probably a misclick, to be honest, but that's the type of thing that could cost him the game against a very good player like Tank. However, many aspects of the battle are going very well for Jungle Man still. He still has his Knights, he still has his Harvesters. The Spears and Halberds are holding well, and the Vampire support pocket here, like the White King and the Corpse Carts, are all being crumped by Marathi. So even with the Black Dragon going over there and getting destroyed, I still think he's in a pretty good position despite that misplay. What are you saying here? He's just saying ready and good luck, have fun, all that kind of good stuff. Blackguard is still going strong. Marathi probably doesn't want to duel the Blood Dragon Lord, but again, she probably could. Cold Knights get a nice charge here, and also a nice breath follow-up, but there are Halberds here, so if the Blood Knights stay in combat, they're going to be fighting not only the Cold Knights, but also the Blackguard. Marathi coming in as well, and it looks like she is going in for an attack here against the Blood Dragon Lord, who does have Heart Piercing active, which means he's a pretty insane duelist. Oh, was that a Soul Stealer? Another one? Man, that's going to be really strong if that's a Soul Stealer. It could be a Dance Kebab. Oh, that's a Soul Stealer. Brutality. That is going to finish off the Blood Knights. That's going to do massive damage here against the Blood Dragon Lord. And the Jungle Man seems like he might be able to pull this game out, guys. It looks like the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is on the ropes. He's weak binding, 1300 HP. As far as the rest of the army goes, I mean, there's still a full health group of Black Guard over here. Pretty ample spear support. The Crows of Cain up in the sky fighting against Felbat's probably going to be able to win that. And here you can see the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is falling back with all the Blood Knights basically being taken out. I mean, I think there's nothing left for the Blood Knights. There's some zombies here still fighting. But, yeah, I don't know. Losing a Black Coach early was really, really rough, for sure. Nice little Scab Scrape in the distance there, and it looks like a Melkoth is going to be going down here on the Blood Dragon Lord. Not to do much damage, but mainly to slow him and maybe allow Marathi to kind of catch up. And it looks like the balance of power is very Dark Hill favored at this point. I don't see what the Blood Dragon Lord can do at this point, unless like somehow he was able to duel Marathi in the sky and win. Then the Black Coach could probably cycle charge everything else down, but unless that happens, and if Marathi lives, I just don't think there's any chance for this Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. Word of Pain being activated on him as well. And here comes the dreaded Marathi flying across the sky, coming in hot for this Blood Dragon Lord. We'll see if she's able to make contact. And he's running for the hills, 1200 HP. This is pretty much the only chance that Tank has. He has to win this duel up in the sky. If he has like Helm of Discord and a couple other items off cooldown, and Heart Piercing maybe, because Marathi's not super tanky. She has a low HP pool, but she does put his melee attack down to 0 right now. Word of Pain being active, of course, plus the Enchanting Beauty and all those other debuffs here. Yeah, this is pretty much Tank's last chance. He has to win this fight versus Marathi. I mean, aside from that, the battle is somewhat winnable because he does have a Black Coach, which can basically, if zombies are still present, infinitely cycle charge against these troops here, but it's really going to come down to this, and it could happen. And Marathi knows this, and right now she's running because the Helm of Discord is active. So very good play by Jungleman, basically staying away while the big debuff is off. And now he can turn around and fight if he wants to, but I think he's going to do it. Yeah, he's going to go in, and he does get the charge. The Blood Dragon Lord down to a very low amount of HP. You can see he's down to about 572. Marathi does have anti-large and AP and really good stats, actually. So the Blood Dragon Lord just getting absolutely crumped. Just trying to juke Marathi the best he can, but she's pretty swift on her steed here. And it looks like the curse of the 2-win shall continue. We'll see if Jungleman can carry the legacy, but I don't think Tank is going to be able to pull this one back. I think that Marathi is going to be able to seal the deal here for sure. So 501, 505 here, negative 21 leadership. The Black Coach is coming in, maybe with an invo, maybe. The Black Coach charging into Marathi, and it does get some good damage. I mean, Marathi's kind of getting danger low. If the Blood Dragon Lord can get her, maybe some Terror Routes could come in and help out, but there's also still a White King over there, which is, you know, pretty powerful. But the Blood Dragon Lord is negative leadership. Unless he has an invo, I think this is 100% over. Negative 4. Is he going to be able to stabilize? He's crumbling. 130. Negative 6. There are some spears nearby as well. Negative 126. That is going to be army losses. And that is going to be GG. Jungleman coming in, avenging his loss on the last King of the Hill with a pretty solid Air Force. Really good Soul Stealers as well. His timings were great. Like, every Soul Stealer he had hit both Blood Knights and the Lord. And, of course, isolating the Black Coach in the back line was very, very valuable as well. So well played. Tank is still the current leader with 2 victories, but Jungleman is going to become the current King of the Hill. So let's go ahead and pull that up here. Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and update that. The Jungleman. And he currently will have, got to make the name fit. Tank's name fits nicely here. It's just Tank. Jungleman with 1 victory. GG. GG indeed. He crumbled like a cookie. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I always forget you can't cast Invo when the leadership's broken. That's right. Oh, so, you know, on the last stream, Tank apparently gave Jungleman some tips. And then Jungleman says, I followed your tip and it worked. Should have tried to fight with the triple bats in the air, to be fair. Under Helm. GG, well played. So the Jungleman, the Padawan, becoming the master here for this game. And now, next up on our list, we have Flying Taco. Flying Taco, if you're watching, you're up, brother. Oh, and he was ready. He was ready. Here he comes. So, Jungle, pick one, ban one. The mighty Flying Taco, of course, playing in the ECL Grand Finals right now. So we'll see if he can continue his legacy of success here in this battle. We'll pick a map here. We'll do the Tower of Hoth. Yes. You can pick Dark Elves again. We'll see what the Taco brings. The glorious, delicious flying taco. Even Krell would be impressed with that dragon flip. Go, levitating enchilada. Yeah, I think it is a matchup. I think that matchup's probably Dark Elf favored. Yeah. But we saw him do so well. I mean, in the first game, Tank was able to beat Dark Elves with his vampires against a move. But he actually changed the build for that one. He brought more the black coaches instead of like Graveguard and stuff. So it did change. Dark Elves have always been a top tier faction. Tank played a really, really good game for sure. But some of those Soul Stealers were super punishing. All right, so we'll see what Taco picks. He's banning Tomb Kings. And now Flying Taco picks Lizards. All right. So we got some Lizardmen action. We're on the Tower of Hoth. See how this goes. All right. Guys, thanks again for joining. Misha, I was going to link it on the other Discord, but the reason I didn't is because Spartacus had just done an everyone tag. So I felt kind of like I didn't want to like step on that, you know, and have like 2 everyone tags back to back. So I didn't want to like, because he just linked the cool stuff he was working on, and I didn't want to. But yeah, at this point, I think it's fine. Thank you, Misha. Appreciate it. And wow, these guys are both ready already. All right, Flying Taco versus Jungle Man. So in the ECL Grand Finals, Flying Taco's first round opponent is actually Tlaxcalan Soothsayer. So we're going to see Flying Taco versus Soothsayer this weekend as well on Sunday. I've already seen the games, but they're very good. So it's a good series. All right, Tower of Hoth. It is time. Let's drink some of that delicious water. Stay hydrated. Hydro team assemble. Here we go. The Tower of Hoth, Flying Taco. The Lizardman versus the Jungle Man coming off his victory. It's the current king of the hill. We'll see if Flying Taco can usurp his throne here, or if the Jungle Man shall continue his reign as the king of the hill. So let me minimize real quick. Make sure there's no screen blocker now that I'm super paranoid. How is the stream going compared to the one earlier in the week? Well, are you referring to the King of the Hill or the doomed FFA stream, which basically just like was like a slideshow and then basically screen blocked into the Shadow Realm? Well, this one is probably going a little bit smoother, I must say. So let's take a look at Jungleman's forces, because Taco has a pretty wide army. So for Jungleman, he's got 2 Scourge Hunter Chariots, pretty standard. These things are quite good against dinos. They can cycle charge infantry, and they're good against single entities. And for the rest of his army, Dread Spears with some Black Guard. 2 groups of Cold One Knights? Yeah, it looks like 2. With the Doomfire Warlocks, so not the Harvesters, actually, going for the standard Doomfires. Witch Elves here, and up in the sky, we do have big old Papa Malekith. Cool army for sure. It's got anti-dino with Malekith and the Scourge Hunters and Cold One Knights. His infantry, situation probably will be fine. I mean, he has Scourge Hunters and, Doomfires and things like that. Also Soul Stealer, so we'll see how the Jungle Man does against the Flying Taco. So for Flying Taco, he's got Skinks. He's got Red Crested Skinks in the front line. A Salon Mage Priest of Life, it would appear. Yes, Life. And for his cav, he's got, Horned Ones. Oh, hell yeah. So these are not Cold One Knights. These are Horned Ones. These guys are basically just the absolute alpha of the Dino Cav. 60 weapons rank, massive AP values. Very excited to see them in battle. Now, he does have some ranged tools as well. He has the Umbral Tide, a Feral Carnosaur, and it looks like Cold One Riders and Cold One Riders. So he has 2 Horned Ones, 2 Cold One Riders, a Feral Carno, a bunch of Skinks, and that's pretty much it. I'm curious to see how he's going to deal with these Scourge Hunters, for sure. But again, Scourge Hunters have been nerfed. Their HP is much lower than it used to be, so they die much quicker now. And they have less mass, so they have more trouble pushing through infantry. There was a lot of nerfs to them, so they're not as oppressive as they used to be, that's for sure. And I wouldn't even call them oppressive anymore. They're still really good, but not like oppressive, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't play Dark Elves really, so Dark Elves are one of my worst factions, actually. Dark Elves and Lizardmen are probably 2 of my worst. I'm just so bad at them. Anyways, battle's underway here. I'm not bad, but I'm just very average at those factions. So Scourge Hunters are coming in here, going to be dropping some shots into the Red Crested Skinks. Probably going to be opting for a charge here as well. Maybe. It looks like Jungle Man is pondering the decision here. There is a Feral Carno coming, and also the Salamanders able to get some nice shots here. And the Scourge Hunters do charge through the Skinks, but he's got to be careful. If he gets Jurassic Parked right here, that's not going to be good. And it looks like one of the Scourge Hunters does kind of get stuck on the T-Rex. Ooh, that's pretty bad. That's pretty unfortunate. Losing a Scourge Hunter is pretty big. Yeah, one of the Chariots does get trapped up there. In the meantime, Malekith is going to be using a really nice Gaze of Malice right there on the Skinks. And the frontline fighting will be underway here in just a moment. One of the Scourge Runners does fall in the back, leaving it down to 2 models, I think, or... No, it actually got away. It looks like it was able to get away here somehow, so the Noble Chariot did survive. Over here, though, pretty good charge for the dinos. It looks like the Horned ones are coming in, and it looks like the Golden Knights might be caught with their pants down a little bit. Granted, there are some Witch Elves here. Oh, no, this could actually be really bad for the dinos here. If these Witch Elves from Jungle Man turn around right now and go after the Horned ones, rampage them, and then fight this big blob fight here, that would be huge. But we'll see what happens. So Jungle Man very focused on this fight here. It looks like there's a massive kind of influx of Golden Riders and different troops here. Malekith might opt to do a Soul Stealer here, but he opts to do it in the back instead, I think. No, Word of Pain and Soulblight going down. And the Witch Elves are now turning around. A little bit of a slow reaction there, unfortunately. I don't know if the Witch Elves will get back there. And you can see the horny ones are just basically massacring these Golden Knights, despite the debuffs. But some of the Blackguard are coming in as well. If he can rampage them now, that would still be really good, considering he has Blackguard. So these Horn ones are basically going to die, because they're going to be rampaging into Blackguard. Now over here we have a big fight as well. Malekith going in and trying to slow the advance of some of these units. But Horn ones and Golden Riders and the Feral Carno are able to get some huge damage. And also we have the Salamander shooting in, going after the Witch Elves. And yeah, these Horn ones still rampaging out of control and doing some great work. So if we take a look at the battlefield overall, the Cold Knights of the Dark Elves have fallen back here, but they could honestly turn and help clean up these cold ones here. Malekith and his chariots are, stable for the most part. He was able to remedy that situation. He did lose one group of the Scourge Runner chariots. Well, not lose them, but they're in relatively bad shape and probably will get chased down. And in the back, a good fight here for the Dark Elves, as the Blackguard and the Witch Elves continue to rampage these units here. One group of Horned ones is pretty much 100% KO'd. Now that Malekith is coming in, this is going to be very, very scary. This whole Lizardman pocket of skinks and different troops here probably is going to be crumbling down here and having a bad time. So Jungle Man doing a very solid job so far. Golden Knight's countercharging, and he does get a good charge here into the Horned ones. The Horned ones or Golden Riders do charge in, but there's no skink support. There's spear support for the Dark Elves. There's Blackguard. There's Malekith. It seems like this whole engagement over here is going very, very well here for the Dark Elves. Now, if we look at what Flying Taco has left, he has the Umbral Tide. He does have a Slan Mage of Life, which of course can heal up the Feral Carnosaur and some of these big threats here. There still are some Horned ones fighting relatively well, but I would say that the battle is going a little bit better for the Dark Elves. It's a close one still. Still very attainable for both players, but I would say slightly Dark Elf favored, simply because of how well this main fight went. And also, if Jungle Man wants to, he can resort to a kite game. He can pull back, he can use Malekith to just kind of a cycle charge, and use the ammunition on his Scourge Runners to actually just shoot down some of the big dino threats like the Feral Carno. Now, the Feral Carno is chasing in, and if it is able to get a lot of damage on Malekith, that can be pretty game-changing. Malekith here, of course, taking quite a bit. Shield of the Old Ones going down as well to give the Carno a little bit more durability, but this Dark Elf Cav Core is very nasty. I mean, we have Cold Knights, we have the Harvesters, or just Doomfire Warlocks. So a lot of very powerful units. And also the Scourge Runner still being alive is very scary. In total, there's 4 of them, so that's still like pretty good firepower. It looks like a Gaze of Malice coming down from Malekith as well, going to be breaking off those skinks. And over here, the Lizards do come in for a bit of a secondary fight, and this is actually not bad for the dinos. They do have their Cold Riders coming in to pin. They have the Feral Carno, and they also have some skinks who will apply poison to this fight. However, it looks like the Jungle Man is in pretty good shape here. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the Lizards are going to be able to do about this. There's just not much left for them, really, and the Scourge Runners are still alive, which means all the Dino Infantry are just in a terrible situation. And here, the Slan Mage Priest of Life, trying his best to hold, but he's just surrounded by spears. His fat, gelatinous form shall be shanked and poked and prodded here by all of these Dread Spears. Nice little breath attack coming in. Doesn't do too much, except it routes off those skinks, which isn't bad. And the Dinos do have some stuff coming back. We have Golden Riders, and it looks like the Umbral Tide is coming back as well, but I think that the Scourge Runner Chariots should be able to finish them off. And yeah, just all these troops closing in here on the Slan is pretty rough. Soulblight going down from the Harvesters, or not from the Harvesters, from the Doomfire Warlocks. And now Big Papa Malekith is going to come in and just absolutely feast on this Toad Soul. And I would imagine he might still have enough for a Soul Stealer too. The Slan going down very quickly, and the Feral Carno will simply rampage and just die to the Blackguard here, of course with their halberds. And Carnosaurs are really bad at actually killing those type of threats. Man, the Jungle Man coming in hot with 2 victories over 2 top-tier players. Apparently, he's been practicing. Very well played, Jungle Man. Very well played, brother. And that is going to be a victory for the Druchii and for Jungle Man, who is now going to be tied for the current King of the Hill with 2 victories. We'll see if he can break the curse of the double King of the Hill. As you can see here, we now have the cohort of Sotek, this brave skank fighting to the bitter end. But alas, he is going to get run over by a lot of angry, edgy, Hot Topic employees. There you have it. There you have it, my friends. The Jungle Man's Druchii, victorious once again against the onslaught of the Horned Ones. Let's go ahead and update this. I wonder if Jungle Man plays Lizardman. Yeah, it is his name after all. So current leader will be Tank / Jungle Man. Cool, let's update that. GG indeed. Well played to those two players. Next up, we have Faust. You're up. We'll see what Faust brings. I think Faust likes to play Empire. I don't know where Jungle Man went. We'll get him back. Hopefully he doesn't have to go or something. Oh no. Don't think so. He will be back. Hopefully. Game crashed, I think. All right. So we continue on. Yeah, so his game just crashed. He's on his way back. All right. So we'll get the Jungle Man back in here. We'll pick the next map, which is going to be Troll Country. And we'll get the show on the road. So guys, thank you for joining. And Simon Benjamin, thank you for the tenor, man. Keep up the amazing content. This is my second favorite format after Faction Tournament. Hey, I'm glad to hear that. I wasn't sure how people felt about King of the Hill, but it's kind of fun. You get to see like a lot of different play styles, different players. It's a cool showcase, you know, for players who you don't normally see. We clearly have some potential. Maybe it's the curse. We'll see. Yeah, the Dark Elves pretty much hate everything, yeah. Dob, yes, Dob plays us here. We did have some Horned Boys. They were here. Jungle Man will return in the Avengers Endgame. So Faust is here. He will be back. He's just fixing his connection real quick. So we'll see what Faust wants to play. I would imagine Jungle Man will stick with his Dark Elves and ban something. We'll double check here. Yeah, that sometimes happens in Total War. You like freaking like minimize at the wrong time, or like you get stuck on the black screen of doom. It's kind of an unfortunate thing, but what can you do? King of the Hills are great to show off a wide range of players and skill levels. I agree, Rubber Duck of War, for sure. I agree. And Rubber Duck, you have a YouTube channel, don't you? Feel free to drop a link to your YouTube channel here if you'd like. We can approve that. Or we can wait till you're playing and then do that, because you are in the King of the Hill. Up to you. You can actually, Rubber Duck, you can actually send me a link to your YouTube channel in Discord, and then I'll link it when you're playing. Felcon is not playing today. He's not signing up, but you guys will see Felcon play on Sunday in the Eternal Challenger League Grand Finals. Felcon is, of course, there. So, Jungle, pick one, ban one. Well played. No problem. Not a problem. I crash all the time. It's the nature of the beast. Faust is our next challenger. We'll see what he picks. We will see what schemes await in the deep. So I would imagine he's going to stick with Dark Elves. Done. So he picks Dark Elves, bans Tomb Kings, because he doesn't want to play against Ushopti Great Bows, which is smart. And now Faust gets his pick. So Faust can play anyone but Tomb King. So there's tons of factions that can play well against Dark Elves. But it looks like Faust might be playing the Dowie. The Dwarves, which, you know, historically have been considered to have a hard matchup against Dark Elves. But things change. Dwarf playstyles evolve. I've seen, you know, top-tier Dwarf players beat Dark Elf players, so it's very possible. And he's going with Empire. That's what I thought. Yeah, Faust plays Empire. Like, most of the replays he sends me, I think, are Empire. So it's going to be Empire versus Dark Elves. This is what I would consider to be an even matchup. He says Emperor guide us as he picks his army here. Very, very cool. And, man, holy shit, Joe. Damn, dude. Joe going in balls deep on the donation of $100. Let's make sure to drop a like for return. 700 viewers. We should have 700 likes. Joe Leonard, dude. You did that the other day, too. On my Doomed stream, you had a very generous donation also. So thank you so much, Joe. The fat hundy. Hot damn. Joe. Everybody, guys, let's give it up for Joe and that fat one. Thank you so much, dude. That's huge. Man, thank you. Yeah, and yeah, I'm always a little bit taken aback there. That's very generous. Thank you so much, man. And yes, the ECL Grand Finals are going to be 2 streams. There's one on Sunday, and the next one will be a couple weeks after, probably. Or a week after. We're not sure yet. Yeah, so Sunday is the round of 8, because there's 8 players, so it'll be the first rounds. It's basically going to be the same format as Ever Chosen, where you have 2 days. GG, Joe. Yeah, Joe Leonard, thank you so much, man. The merciless host cometh! The Jungle Man, bringing the Dark Elf Fury, taking out some serious competition. We'll see if he can defeat the Emperor. I'm sure Franz will come personally to dispatch this Dark Elf foe. Or it could be Volkmar. I can see a wild Volkmar pick coming in. I love using Volkmar. He's like my favorite. The treasure from Nehekara. All right. 1 second here, guys. He brings the Slan Gold. I think that's one of my favorites. That'll buy you 2 bottles of alcohol gel. That'll buy me 2 bottles of hand sanitizer on the black market. Oh, man. That's funny, dude. Yeah, people are price gouging hand sanitizer on Amazon. It's absurd. It's absurd. All right, let's rock and roll. We got the Jungle Man ready, sending a message that he is ready to scrap and do battle. And we'll do it to it. We're going hard. The Jungle Man with his capybara picture. It's pretty great. The name is great too, you know? Just like it all comes together in quite a package. Of course, Faust we've seen in many ECLs and tournaments, a very, very serious player. Very, very solid. So we'll see what he brings. I would imagine it's going to be, I don't know, probably just a bunch of Empire Knights and Knights, you know, Karl Franz and maybe the Royal Altdorf Griffites as well. Maybe a cannon. Like, really, when you watch a lot of, like, good Dark Elf players, their gameplay really comes down to how good their Soul Stealers are. Like, that's, like, the biggest deciding factor, I think, for Dark Elves. All right, battle's underway here, guys. Again, thank you so much for the generous donations, all of you guys. And now we're going to be jumping in to our next match in King of the Hill. God damn it, Bobby. By the way, for any of you guys who have never seen King of the Hill, the TV show, it is like one of the best shows of all time. It is so good. God damn it, Bobby. And it's perfect. I can just use King of the Hill things for my thumbnails for these, and has a nice theme. So, for the Empire, we have the Emperor Karl Franz. Malekith has been rampaging through Sylvania. He rampaged through Lustria. Now he comes through the north, through Troll Country, to come down to the Empire. And Franz has something to say about it. With Galmaraz and Reikland Runefang. In the front line, it is going to be some great swords, actually, and unbreakable troops in the forms of Sigmar's Sons and Flagellants, which I do love. I really like having a center massive of unbreakable Empire troops. It's really nice. Great swords here. In the back, we do have a Jade Wizard. Again, Franz always needs a healer. And a Warrior Priest with all the buffs, which is really good. Soulfire Bombardment is great at dealing damage in these blob fights. And also, he has those nice AoE buffs. Knights of the Blazing Sun are also a good choice. Magic resistance against the Doomfire Warlocks is also quite helpful. Because, if you guys don't know, the Knights of the Blazing Sun do indeed have a 25% magic resist base. Kind of like Dawi Cav. Over here in the front, we do have a couple Pistoliers as well. Pistoliers are a great kiting unit. A little bit of poke and stroke and gives you some tactical options on the battlefield. And that is pretty much it. So now for Jungle Man, the Witch King cometh once again. In the front, he does have the Dread Spears in the front. Malekith up in the sky with some Harpies. Coldwood Knights. Oh, Knights of the Ebon Claw. So going with some elite Cav here from the Dark Elves. These guys have a really cool scheme for sure. Imagine actually like painting that scheme in tabletop. Knights of the Ebon Claw, though, certainly don't mess about. Can do battle with, you know, and really wreck the Knights of the Blazing Sun in one-on-one combat. He's got 2 Harvesters, or 2 Doomfire Warlocks, one of which is the Harvesters, and in the back he does have 2Coldwood Knights. So this matchup usually does come down to this, like monstrous flying lords with like Cav fights. Like whoever can get the better Cav fights, obviously, in this one is pretty decisive. I mean, the infantry battle will favor the Empire with Sigmar Sons and Flagellants against Dread Spears with greatsword support. So that is an eventual advantage the Empire could reap, but we'll see how it goes. Good luck, have fun. Let's do it to it. Let us do glorious battle this day and see if Franz can pull this one out. God, you guys got me so paranoid about the screen blocker now. Well, not your fault, but I got myself so paranoid. Thankfully, I'm not using them today. I did not even set one up, so we don't have to worry. Flagellants here advance forward. The Empire wasting no time in pushing. The Pistoliers will probably just shoot the elite Cav, honestly, just like volume of fire into the Knights of the Ebon Claw. The Ebon Claw Knights, you know, relatively low model count, so any pokes you can get into them is pretty good. With the Pistoliers, Franz, does he want to take a fight with Malekith up in the sky? Probably not. Malekith with Soul Stealer and Mark of Pain and the Doomfire Warlocks with their supporting magic is quite scary. So the Knights of the Ebon Claw are being pulled into some spears, though. Big misplay here From Jungle Man, oh, that's disastrous. And Franz is able to get in there. The breath attack does come in, but this is like a pretty horrible situation here. Granted, if Malekith uses a fast Soul Stealer here, this could turn this fight around, or at least net him some pretty good value. But Franz is going in deep up in the sky. The Emperor popping Foe Seeker and Galmaraz, but Malekith is actually still winning the duel, unfortunately, here for the Empire. Reichel and Runefang, everything's pretty much being popped. A huge, nasty blob fight right here. But Malekith 100% needs to use all of his abilities here. So Gaze of Malice coming in the back here. Oh, that's a nice one. And Soul Stealer going down. Brutal AoE damage on the Empire. So yes, the Knights of the Ebon Claw got crumped pretty bad, but the Soulfire Bombardment coming back in, doing some good damage in return. The Soul Stealer is just so nasty, and he's able to really bait the... I don't know if that was an intentional bait, but at the end of the day, he did bait the Empire into a big blob fight, which seemed to go pretty well for the Dark Elves after that initial engagement. In the meantime, Malekith is going in for the kill here on the Jade Wizard, but the Empire does have some Knights of the Blazing Sun, and the Emperor coming in once again. Reichel and Runefang still active. Oh, this is a nice surround here on Malekith, and Soul Stealer is on cooldown. So currently, Malekith is not going to have any treachery to get him out of this fight. And Franz is very beat up, but the Jade Wizard, of course, could potentially use like a regrowth or something. I don't know what his Winds of Magic situation is, but the Empire is able to get the better hand of that, or the upper hand there in that fight, as Malekith is forced back by this Empire Goon Squad. The Brave State troops are holding firm against all these elite cav, but obviously there's a lot of them. A lot of Coldwood Knights trying to push through this fight, basically ignoring this. But Franz and the Jade Wizard still on the hunt, and the Warrior Priest. Oh man, Malekith could be in trouble here. Franz is pissed. He wants vengeance for the souls of his men, which have been stolen by Malekith the Witch King. Malekith taking a huge blow in the back. Faust able to get Karl, and Malekith is in the danger zone. I mean, he's close to breaking, and if he does break, that would probably be the game for the Empire. I don't think they would be able to deal with Franz without Malekith. Over here, we do have a good fight for the Dark Elves, though. Harvesters and the Doomfire Warlocks, basically just sheer weight of numbers, overwhelming these Knights of the Blazing Sun here. Granted, the magic resistance does help quite a bit. This fight's actually going better for the Empire now that the Spearmen are able to really saturate, and a lot of the Dark Elf cav units are being worn down. And it looks like the Emperor, the son of Sigmar, is able to come in and potentially banish the Jungle Man's Witch King here. So here comes Karl Franz pulling up in the sky, going after Malekith. And we'll see if the Crows of Cain are able to intercept and salvage Malekith's position. Now, this could potentially turn around for the Dark Elves. If Malekith can rally, he gets a Soul Stealer, he wins the duel with Franz in tandem with the Crows of Cain, maybe. But I think Franz is on the hunt, and he is a little bit faster, I think. 90 speed against 90, it's the same, actually. So we'll see what happens there. Now, back in this fight, though, it's still a little bit messy. A lot of Dark Elves just kind of rampaging everywhere, but it looks like the sheer bodies of infantry the Empire have, the Spearmen, the Warrior Priest is buffing them, giving a lot of good support here, are winning this fight here. And the Soulfire Bombardment will, of course, do some good damage. And man, Malekith not coming back is pretty disastrous. And that's pretty much going to seal the deal. Franz will now beat down the Crows of Cain, rout them off the battlefield, and there's too many state troops left. The Sons of Sigmar, the anchors of the Empire, are able to hold back the Druchii Menace, and that is going to be a victory most likely for Faust and the Empire. So what a scrap. That was a really good game. Franz really had a tough time in that initial duel, but he was able to come back and get the engagement with the Warrior Priest and the Jade Wizard in a 3v1 against Malekith, which did pull out that win. So very well played. Very well played. So Jungle Man's reign of terror has come to an end, and now Faust is the new king of the hill. So let's go ahead and update the scorecards and make sure we have everything right. Well played, well played. The Sons of Sigmar, the heroes of the day. So Jungle Man, I'm pretty sure Jungle Man won too. So yeah, he beat Taco and Tank, yes. So he should be 2, and now we have our current king is going to be Faust with 1 for Sigmar. Let's raise it up for Sigmar in chat, guys. Not Age of Sigmar, but you know, the proper Sigmar. He is the Prince and Emperor. Yeah, the Empire is really strong. Well played to Jungle Man, though. He had some really solid wins against great players, and Faust has won as well. So, solid run for him. And now Faust is here. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look and see who we have on the docket for the day. We have Xiphos. All right, Xiphos, you're up. I think Xiphos said he might be AFK for 10 minutes, so we'll pull in the next person and then get Xiphos in after that. So, Rubber Duck of War, you're up. We're up, then Xiphos. All right. Copy the link. Very well played. Faust has summoned the Elector Counts. My favorite factions to play in, like when I'm trying to win, Dwarves, Skaven, Vampire Coast, and Bretonnia are actually my favorite factions to play right now. Oh yeah, Aaron Perlman, shoot me a message again, man. Thank you so much. That totally slipped in my mind. I must have had a lot going on. shoot me a message, man. I'm definitely interested. So now we have Rubber Duck of War joining. I don't know. I think he's on my friends list. Here he is. So for this map, we'll do the Warpstone Mine. So if you guys haven't seen a Rubber Duck of War, he does indeed run a YouTube channel. He sent me a link. And let's go ahead and copy that link. And we'll share it with you guys. Let me make sure it works first. All right. Send it to you guys, and it's not something trolling me. So here is a Rubber Duck of War's YouTube channel, guys. I've just shared you the link 3 times if you'd like to check it out. Looks like he does battles, all kinds of good stuff. And yeah, it's a great name as well. It's certainly no joke. I thought that Carl was going to get smashed by Malekith after that first engagement. Me too. But he did a really good job scrapping back. We meet again, Faust. I'm assuming you pick and ban. Yes, so Faust, pick and ban 1. We have the Warpstone Mine is the map. Faust, of course, has the option to pick and ban here. Mr. Perlman, if you could also send me another link just to refresh it, I would appreciate that. Do not know death when you see it, old Franz. This is my hour. The Sigmar's sun's horn sounds in the distance. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Aaron Perlman, thank you so much again, man, for the donation. And yeah, do send me another message in Discord if you could. I will use that train happily in my battle reports that I'll be shooting soon. All right. So what do we got? Let's pump those legs. Faust going for the Dawi and banning the Dark Elves. And let's see what a Rubber Duck of War picks. We are on the Warpstone Mine. So there's some nice natural terrain for the dwarves to use. Some nice hills, some ravines, which they can throw blasting charges in. Lots of fun stuff. He says, my heart says lizardmen, but high elf it is. The war of the beard, the great grudgeon. We have dwarves versus high elves here in this battle. That's a grudgeon, says Faust. Perfect. Satisfy the grudge. All right. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Zyphos came back just as I said it, and he's like, oh, well, at least I don't have to play in Warpstone Mine with elves. Yeah. This is going to be a fun one, though. It's certainly a good map for the dwarves. There's lots of like natural terrain pieces to obstruct flanks and things like that. All right. They've wronged us. My dwarf campaign's still going, don't you worry. It's the ultimate grudge, that campaign. I recorded the next episode, so don't worry. It's going up. Give him the Elithanar chair. That's what Loopy wants to see. I don't blame you. Loopy, I know you're quite an elf player. We'll see, guys. We will see indeed. Caleb, gotta miss Sunday. I've got D&D. No, you gotta play some D&D. Don't worry, the video will be uploaded afterwards, Caleb, so you'll be able to watch it. Don't you worry, brother. A Rubber Duck of War is ready. I wonder what his clan stands for. DBD. I'm trying to think like of what it could possibly be. Almost there. The lads are slow. So he's picking. This is always a fun matchup, though. The classic Grudgeon. I wonder if the High Elves are going to use someone like Elithanar. Elithanar can snipe Dwarf Lords. He has good AP and really good range. And he's, he does some work. Obviously, I don't think he's the most competitive choice, but he's got some teeth here. Rubber Duck of War says, no worries, I need to make a change. DM Mag, hey, fair play, man. Well, Kim C, it's not really a puzzle per se. It's more like I just have to just grind out the campaign. Death before Dishonor. Ah, that would make sense. That would make sense. Very solid indeed. Oh, the perfect zero spend from a Rubber Duck of War. The zero spend. Oh, baby. And here we go. He is ready. Dwarves will be ready momentarily. And we have the War of the Beard. We'll see who prevails this day. Of course, the actual War of the Beard was won by the Dwarves. Just for the record, let's just set that straight here, despite what some elf fans might tell you. The mighty Dowie were able to reign victorious. Faust says, I can't win now. Oh no, the 0 spend is too much to conquer. All right, here we go. We load in. Rubber Duck of War versus Faust. Faust, the current king of the hill. The Curse of 2 continues. And it's something I'll evaluate after the stream, is maybe it has something to do with the picks and ban system. Like maybe we need to give them 2 bans instead of just 1. But I like there to be more of a challenge for the king, so they just don't like, get to ban perfectly and just like get the perfect matchup every time. It's a bit of a tricky thing, but we'll see. Honestly, I think players are just playing well. Like those matchups that, were won and lost were not like hard counters. They were just good. So we'll see how it goes. So for the dwarves, let's take a look. Over here for the Lord, we have Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, and he does actually have the Rune Axe, which you don't see often. But it does have Discourage and some cool abilities. He also has a Runesmith with the Runes of Wrath and Ruin to slow. In the front line, Miners with Blasting Charges. Going to be Dwarf Warriors into the Sunset with the Grumbling Guard for the Vigor buff, Dragonback Slayers and regular Slayers. Trollhammer Torpedoes to kill chariots and monsters. And for the rest of his army, it looks like double gyro up in the sky. So it's going to be 2 gyrocopters with these steam cannons, interestingly enough. But yeah, not bad. And what's kind of funny is there's no artillery in this army. And if the High Elves bring bolt throwers, which they did, they can actually force the dwarves to have to advance, which is pretty hilarious. So we'll see how that goes. Now for a Rubber Duck of War, he does have Tyrion. Tyrion, of course, has massive AP values and can really dunk on a lot of the... although him and Grombrindle would be quite an epic duel for sure. Over here, we do also have the Loremaster of Hoeth with a Harmonic Convergence, and that's pretty much it. 3 archers. It looks like a combination of different AP infantry, so the White Lions and Swordmasters, which is pretty good. We do have a Loremaster of Hoeth with Earthblood as well, and he's also a pretty powerful anti-infantry AP unit himself. 2 bolt throwers and a couple archers to shoot slayers. It's a very good Heil army, actually. Very unorthodox. Usually, you see a lot of chariot rushes and things like that, but I think that a lot of dwarf players will over-prepare for the chariots, and then at which point these other type of builds can work. So we'll see how this goes. The dwarves will have to advance, though. The bolt throwers are going to be able to draw range and force the dwarves to have to be the attacker and move forward. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, he could just weather it, if he wants. But the bolt throwers will probably just snipe the Trollhammer Torpedoes, or maybe the gyrocopters. But I would imagine that Faust will probably keep the gyrocopters back and away and use them in a deep reserve and then just pull them in once the fighting starts and let the bolt throwers shoot sub-optimal targets. Good luck, have fun. Good luck, have fun. See how this glorious battle goes. Always a fun time seeing the Dowie play. The battle's underway. At the last moment, he moves his gyrocopters forward. And a very unorthodox army for sure. No chariots, no nobles on chariots, which again, those type of things are very common. Some of the old school play against dwarves was using nobles on chariots and then basically using a Lariel to heal them. It's really, really powerful because they're just a pain in the butt to deal with. But with what does he have? 4 Iron Drakes or 3 Iron Drakes? They're really good at killing chariots down. So especially with Runes of Wrath and Ruin and Smoke Bomb, you have a lot of slowing on this dwarf army. So the dwarves are moving. They're obviously aware that it's not a situation they can kind of camp out. And honestly, this isn't bad for the Dowie because the bolt throwers are kind of behind the trees. They're a little bit obstructed. They still will shoot through, but this is actually a pretty decent position here for the dwarves. The fact that there's this gully with a little line of sight tree patch. So the gyrocopters are coming in, maybe going to be doing some bombing runs. I mean, just, the archers are shooting them and doing some okay damage, but the first bombing run comes down, an attempt from Faust. It looks like it did not make square contact, and now he's going to be using the steam cannons to pop off the bolt throwers, which is pretty powerful here. Now, the archers are saturating in and doing some decent damage, but one of the bolt throwers does take some okay damage there. And now both armies are basically advancing. No one's going to be sitting back here, really. Both armies closing in on one another. The front line here, of course, of the High Elves is quite a bit stronger. The White Lions and the Swordmasters are far superior in terms of troop quality to just Miners and Dwarf Warriors, but one of the bolt throwers is going down here. It's very, very low, and one of the gyrocopters is also quite low, but they have 100 armor and the archers have low AP, so he should be able to, kind of dodge it a little bit. Now, Trollhammer Torpedoes do okay damage here against some of these troops. Again, more intended to kind of goon things out, but what Faust could do is actually shoot down the Loremaster of Hoeth. He's kind of a choice target. He's out in front, a little bit kind of isolated, could go after that. While these 2 steam cannons are doing just great work here in the back line. I mean, despite the archers and bolt throwers, which are both kind of good against them, one of the bolt throwers is gone. So the frontline fighting here is underway. You can see the Loremaster of Hoeth gets absolutely nuked by the Trollhammers, but again, he has Earthblood, so he could probably heal. And we'll see if they keep shooting in here. A little bit obstructed, I would imagine, but the Lore Master of Oath is really taking a righteous hammering here. Oh man, he's down low. But the Earthblood, of course, is keeping him fighting, and now we have Dwarf Warriors in the front line, and Grombrindle and the Runesmith are going to be saturating forward and getting ready to do Mortal Kombat. In the meantime, Trollhammer Torpedoes are taking a little bit of poke from one of the bolt throwers, I think, and one of the Gyrocopter squads is taken out, so pretty even trade, actually. A bolt thrower for a gyro in terms of cost is about the same, especially the steam cannon. I think maybe slightly advantageous here for the High Elves. So frontline fighting is underway. Grombrindle's going in balls deep here, going after the Lore Master, and you can see he's making quick work. The Lore Master of Hoth is, again, a powerful duelist, but the White Dwarf does not mess about. And you can see here that the Lore Master of Hoth is gone, which means healing is gone. So at this point, what I would do if I were Faust is probably get his Gyrocopter and just chase off the Lore Master of Hoth, keeping the other troops in combat. But as far as like saturated combat goes, you have Sword Masters fighting Gremlin Guard, and Gremlin Guard are actually pretty strong. They'll put up a good fight there, but they will lose it eventually. But again, there is some supporting fire coming in from the Trollhammer Torpedoes. Those guys can hammer down on a lot of these armored troops, and Slayers have been forced into kind of Mortal Kombat here, which isn't necessarily what they want to be doing. And the High Elves, I would say, still are maybe in a slight state of advantage, despite the fact that the Lore Master has been gooned, because Trollhammers are so heavily designed to kill like chariots and single entities that if they don't bring those things, like it's just not going to be super effective compared to like Thunderers. I always opt to go for like 3 or 4 Thunderers because they're good against everything. Good against chariots, good against infantry, good against flyers. But again, Trollhammers are really like a, stomp your couch kind of thing, right? Dave Chappelle style. So they're pretty damn powerful. So the Trollhammers have been able to fall back, but somehow the Lore Master of Hoth was able to return to the battlefield. So the Gyrocopters... Oh, is there 2 of them? Wait. He has 2 Lore Masters of Hoth. Oh! Oh, the plot thickens! Okay, for some reason I thought it was like a different caster. I just totally didn't look at that. But okay, he's got 2 Lore Masters, which is very smart. Double AP anti-infantry. Grombrindle now is going in for the duel to go after the Lore Master of Hoth. All the Trollhammers are a little bit compromised. Slayers are fighting White Lions, which is really not a good situation for them. They might do some damage, but they're going to take a lot from the archers, and it's going to be a losing situation for them. In the meantime here, Slayers are going to be chasing the Lore Master of Hoth, trying to hammer him down. Grombrindle and his troops here are fighting pretty well, but the Trollhammer Torpedoes are basically offline. One of them's pretty much done for, the other one's done for. There's a full health, more or less, group of the Sword Masters of Hoth coming in, and it seems like the High Elves are probably going to take this game. Yeah, the Lore Master here might go down, but Grombrindle cannot carry this one, especially with Tyrion still having the Heart of Averlorn. Like, Tyrion could potentially heal up and do some really, really strong work here. It's a very cool build here from a Rubber Duck of War. I think it was very unorthodox, and it caught this Dwarf army off guard, which was just so prepared for chariots and single entity abuse and things like that, but, he just didn't do that. He brought a very, very cool build, and I like it quite a bit. So Gromby's fighting. Of course, Grombrindle has no fear, has been popped to keep all these troops fighting a little bit longer. In the back, what do we have? We have some Gyrocopters shutting down the Bolt Thrower, which probably won't do too much. Some Dwarves are coming back in, but there's so many elite troops here for the High Elves. So many. I mean, just a huge blob. And you can see here Grombrindle, of course, trying his best to work down Tyrion, but kind of getting knocked over a little bit, or staggered, as Tyrion is much more mobile and probably could go after the Runesmith or any number of other targets. The Dwarves kind of are stabilizing a backline position, are able to get some Trollhammers, which they're with their explosion damage to kind of shoot into this big, ugly blob here, and also a steam cannon. So, I mean, a nice flash bomb right there, too, but I think Gromby is just a little bit trapped up here, and I don't know if he's going to be able to anchor this. So Slayers are now charging in. Gromby will need some support. He's very, very heavily surrounded, but honestly, like, the Dwarves are kind of getting it back in terms of just overall army strength, because they're getting a ton of splash damage into this blob. But yeah, Gromby needs to get away for sure. Now, there might be some bombers left on the Gyrocopters. Steam cannon still shooting in. You can see some of the white lines are buckling off. Runesmith is going to be using a Rune of Wrath and Ruin on something or other. Looks like the Sword Masters and some of the Dragonback Slayers are able to get here. And, Tyrion might get popped here. Looks like they're going after Tyrion. He's taking a bit of damage. Some of them make contact, not all of them. And now he's going to be pulling back. So what do the Dwarves have aside from this? Archers are almost out of ammo here. In the back, the Gyrocopter has finished off that Bolt Thrower, and it looks like the Sword Masters are now staggering in. Another layer of Dwarf Warriors is here in reserve. Should be able to try and hold this, but I think that Gromby needs to fight here instead of running. Because if he runs, he's just going to get hit in the back. He's at negative 56 right now, so he does break. Steam Cannon shooting in, trying to free up Grombrindle. 32 leadership. Yeah, he's running for the hills. A shame to his ancestors. And now we have Slayers piling in. We have a Gyrocopter. That was almost a good comeback. Like, the High Elf army's like beat to breaks here, but you can see, of course, Tyrion's in really good shape. And Tyrion's a raid boss. So Rubber Duck, with a very solid build, was able to kind of mind game there and, and do it to it. GG, well played. Very well played. Man, this is, again, Game of Thrones round 2. It seems like the kings just are slain every which direction. So next we have a Rubber Duck of War facing off against Xiphos, as the Dwarves make their valiant last stand here, fulfilling their oaths. and creating new grudges, of course, because that's how dwarves work. It's an endless cycle of misery for their culture, for dwarves. And there you have it, a glorious, glorious victory. Well played. And now we shall update the king card. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So the new king of the hill is going to be Rubber Duck. Going to put that there because anything longer will just probably not fit well. All right. So the curse continues. Yeah, the white dwarf probably should be unbreakable. Well played. It was indeed a great game. So next we're going to be on the Valley of Thieves. And Xiphos, you're up. Let me tag you, brother. All right, so we have Xiphos, Maple Killer, Willow, and then we'll potentially go down the list of people because we're making this one's much faster than the last one. So perhaps we can add a couple more. We'll see. Very well played indeed. Turin, on the topic of brainstorming ideas how to improve the Hank Hill format, would having the king need to stay locked in whatever they picked be something to consider? It is, but they're already kind of getting counterpicked. So, you know, I think that as is, it's fine. My lovely wife is here. Everyone say hello to Lady Turin and happy birthday. It's her birthday tomorrow. We're going to see some wolves, which is going to be great. Hopefully I survive. Lich109 says Grombrindle was unbreakable in tabletop. Ah, good to know. Rubber Duck of War says, oh no. Xiphos says so. All right. Juck, pick one, ban one. I think this is a good format though, because it like gives the king some defensive options for changing factions against different players and getting a ban, but it's not like so good that they can double ban and just get the good, like perfect matchups. Yeah, but I mean, like, back in the day, we had a couple people on King of the Hills who just, like, ran shop. Like, I think Falcon won, like, 9 in a row, and so did Arrow, and it was the same format, if I'm not mistaken. Now, dwarves are actually very good, Mole Spaghetti. They can be very good. Yeah. Rubber Duck of War goes Wood Elves and he bans Bretonia. Oh, is this going to be a Wood Elf mirror? Oh, no. The dreaded Wood Elf mirror. No, please. Oh my god. So, that's really funny. So Rubber Duck of War picks Wood Elves and bans Bretonia. And Xiphos' other main faction is the Wood Elves. Oh no, are we going to get a Wood Elf mirror match? Oh no. Please, Xiphos. Please, Xiphos. I'm too weak. Don't make me cast this. Help. We'll see what happens. No, he's going High Elves. Okay, thank you. Woo. At least I can tell them apart. The mind games have begun. Xiphos, of course, pretty good with all of the Wood Elf factions, or all the Elf factions. Rubber Duck of War with a very strong showing, though. We'll see what he has in store here for Xiphos. We have High Elves on the Valley of Thieves, fighting for the Tomb King's Desert. Hash it be praised. Yes. And we're doing it. So guys, thanks again for joining on today's stream. No, trust me, we're fine. It's not a mirror match. Xiphos was kind enough to spare us by picking the High Elves. But I mean, you know, as a Wood Elf main, he probably knows what the Wood Elf tricks are against High Elves, so I'm sure he'll have some schemes of his own here. We'll see if Rubber Duck can tie for first place with the King of the Hill. We will see how it goes. Not Cleaning Material says, I've turned 25 4 years in a row now. When Xiphos signed up for this, he said the Xiphos baguette is here. That's literally what he said when he signed up for the King of the Hill in the Discord. Yeah, the Wood Elf mirror can be quick, but with 2 kiting players, it can go also for like 45 minutes because they juke the ammo and it's like they run out of ammo and then they finally engage and it's just like, oh. Xiphos is ready. All right. I have a feeling we're going to see a Lithanar because Xiphos loves him. We'll see. Or he could just go for a heavy cav rush using like Dragon Princes. But again, Rubber Duck of War might then go for a Jerthu box, but there's no trees to hide in on this map. It's a desert, so you have to take that into account. I'm very excited for this. This is going to be fun. Oh. Yes. We're doing it. What shall Rubber Duck of War is ready. What shall become of this matchup? Let us load in and find out. Valley of Thieves, again, a pretty fun Tomb King map. I actually really like desert maps. Like, sometimes it's from a casting perspective, like trees are annoying, but I understand for like other factions' sake, having some map diversity is good, but I love open field maps. It's the dwarf in me. You know, I just like to see everything in front of me and just know what's up. None of them, those elf trickery traps. Look at those giant pyramids in the back. It's pretty cool. If you look at a lot of the maps, there's actually some really cool like background design. Like this is such a cool thing right here. Like this little like little tomb here. And it's really badass. It makes me wish there was like a really cool RPG game based on Warhammer Fantasy. I mean, you do have like hack and slash games, but I'm talking more of like a Skyrim type game. All right. So the players continue to load in as we admire the glorious pyramids in the background. And now the question shall finally be answered. What kind of builds are they going to bring? Is it going to be a Durthu tree blob? Or is he going to play the kiting game? We'll find out here. All right. So for the High Elves, let's take a look. Yeah, this is what I was kind of expecting here. So it's going to be mass Shadow Warriors for Xiphos. A bunch of Silver Helms, because again, heavy cav are always good against Wood Elves. Heralds of the Wind. So he has the Illyrian Reaver bow units. And up in the sky, he does have Lariel the Pigeon Queen with Tempest, which is very good against the Wood Elf Flyers. Faust Protection, as well as Earthblood. And yeah, a Shadow Warrior build. So Shadow Warriors facing off against the Wood Elf Rush. So Wood Elves actually coming in for a Blitz build. They have Dryads. They have 3 groups of the Wild Riders, including the Hunters of Kurnus, Sisters of Thorn. And on the far side, we have, oh baby! How could you not cheer for this man? He has Orion. Orion is coming in with that spear. He is pissed. And, you know, Orion's not actually a bad lord. He has some really good tools, but he just gets overshadowed by the Prey of Anathrema. And it looks like a branch wraith. So it is going to be a Mel Gibson rush. The Wild Riders are really going to have to play well here. But again, you know, the rush build could catch Xiphos off guard, but I feel like Xiphos is well prepared for this. He has the Heralds of the Wind, so clearly having a little bit of fun himself. Good luck, have fun. This is going to be a fun match. I'm very excited. Orion is going to be kind of a raid boss here. I mean, the Shadow Warriors can kill him for sure. But aside from that, like Silver Helms and Alariel aren't going to be terribly efficient. These are Dragon Princes. Okay, so Dragon Princes, Princes, and 1 group of Silver Helms. Okay. 2 Silver Helms. 2 Silver Helms, 2 Princes. And in the back, you can see a Vanguard of the Wild Riders, which is, you know, interesting. Could potentially surprise these guys. We'll see how that goes. And the battle's about to be underway. Orion's going to have his hands full, throwing spears and charging knights with his giant hooves. And remember, guys, if you want to see more of this, Rubber Duck of War does indeed have a YouTube channel, which we linked earlier, and we will link again before he's done. Best of luck, man, he says. Good sport. Up in the sky, Xiphos' Pigeon Queen awaits. Her Tempest shall not be useful here. There are no flying units here in the Wood Elf roster. As it stands, Shadow Warriors unleash an opening salvo here into the Dryads. These Dryads are probably going to get dumped on pretty hard because they're going to charge. And then, I mean, there is Wild Rider support, but I have a feeling the Dragon Princes are just going to go in and just hammer them down. So yeah, Rubber Duck definitely wants to pull these guys back. That's the tricky part. Like, Dragon Princes, units like that are pretty tough for the High Elves or Wood Elves to deal with. Like, they don't have too many options against them aside from, like, I mean, Way Watchers can bring them down. Alariel's going in there. Xiphos going in now with his Dragon Princes. Oh, look at the lance. Not super cinematic, but doing some good damage for sure as the Dryads start to get hammered. And now Xiphos is going to start shooting into the, I don't know, we'll see. Going after Wild Riders, it looks like. They are shielded. They have silver shields too, so they're pretty durable against missile play, aside from their armor. And they do get a really good charge here into the Shadow Warriors, but they need to pull back ASAP, because if they don't, those Dragon Princes are just going to go balls deep. So here comes the Wild Riders pulling back here into the Dryads, which is smart. That's a classic Wood Elf tactic. And now the Wood Elves can charge like back in again and like layer the charges. But Xiphos pulls back as well. A very back and forth game from both of these players. Dryads once again getting hammered by the wrath of these Dragon Princes here. And you can see, oh, no, that's really unfortunate. If these guys get caught, the Wild Riders up in the high ground, a couple of them do get crumped out. He lost like, what, 8 or 9, maybe even 10 models right there. But Orion's coming. He hasn't arrived yet. So far, the High Elves, I would say, are in a slight state of advantage here. Able to get the Dryads down, do some good damage to the Wild Riders. But again, Xiphos' army becomes much weaker once the ammunition runs out. He just has to rely basically on the Dragon Princes. Although Shadow Warriors in combat aren't bad, they can most certainly fight Dryads. Now we have a big fight here. We do have the Silver Helms in combat. The Wild Hunters of Kurnus with the Horn of the Wild Hunt being activated. Dryads. Branch Wraith is also giving some good AoE buffs to melee attack. And really, it's not going terribly. Plus, Orion is a really powerful anti-large character himself. And you can see he's able to kind of take out a couple of these guys. Silver Helm's being pushed back, but Alariel's getting those heals. But Orion's going in deep here, boys. He is not having any of this. And if he were able to drop the Hawk's Talon here, that would be very, very strong. So let's take a look. Orion, I feel like he would be friends with Alariel in lore, but hard to say. So he's in combat, taking out a couple of princes. It looks like the High Elves are staying in combat with their Wild Hunters of Kurnus, who are buffed up by the Shield of Thorns, which does give them some physical resist. And the Sister is able to fall back as well. And honestly, that went really well for the Wood Elves. I'm surprised. Oh, they had the Wardens of Sithril in there. Okay, that's what it was. So the Wardens of Sithril are an anti-large armor-piercing unit, and they were in combat there. That explains a lot. So now the Wood Elves, of course, not wanting to relent. The Horn of the Wild Hunt sounded once again in the deep. The Wild Hunters of Kurnus are actually chasing down Alariel and doing a ton of damage and really sticking on the heels here of these Silverhelms. Oh no! The Pigeon Queen is surrounded by these units. Is she going to be able to get away? Silverhelms and Dragon Prince is charging in. This is a really important fight, but it's good for the Wood Elves because the Wardens of Sithril are here. And the Wardens of Sithril are, like I said, a very good anti-large armor-piercing unit. Will kill a lot of Dragon Princes. And it looks like Mel Gibson dropping the Hawk's Talons here or something, but yeah, not able to do too much. So the Bird Queen is able to survive. Oh, a nice rear charge from the Heralds of the Wind, able to pin those guys in. But again, the Wardens of Sithril are here, and they're doing good damage. Pendulum going down from the Branch Wraith onto the Shadow Warriors. Now the Branch Wraith is coming in to fight. This is actually a very, very even fight here. Very pitched. Mel Gibson, of course, doing huge damage against Dragon Princes. As far as kills, he has 10, but pretty much all 10 of those kills probably are against Dragon Princes here, as that's all he's been attacking. Alariel's very beat up as well, and this is a very, very even battle. Zyphos pretty much lost all of his cav. He does have the Dragon Princes here. He has 18 of those. He has, looks like 15 Silver Helms left. And over here he does have 31 Dragon Princes. Okay, so he still has a relatively decent pocket of strength pertaining to the Dragon Princes. But remember, guys, ammo is running low on the Shadow Warriors. Eventually they're going to have to run in and fight, but I mean, they're still, doing well and paying for themselves. So it looks like, oh no! Alariel lands once again in the clutches of Mel Gibson. His anti-large 500 direct weapon strength. And she is taking a beating from Orion. You can see another one going in there. The healing, of course, countering it a little bit, but she's getting close to her healing cap. Man, Orion doing so much damage. So here, guys, Sisters of Thorn charging in. Wild Riders, as well as the Wardens of Sithril, getting into combat. Dragon Princes are being forced back, and the Bounce Fire is getting massively in the favor here of the Wood Elves. As Zyphos is running low on ammo, his Princes are gone, Alariel's very beat up. And you know what's pretty funny about this? I don't think there's going to be anything left that can kill Orion. I don't. He is a raid boss as far as his HP and his healing and his durability. He's lightly armored, his melee defense is okay, but he has the Cloak of Aisha. So when he gets low, he starts healing himself and gets like basically 50% ward save against all damage. So I don't know. Zyphos still could scrap this out. Shadow Warriors aren't bad in combat, and the Wood Elves are very tattered aside from Orion, but that's the big question here. What can kill Orion? Plus also the Wardens of Sithril still have 51 models. Those guys have been MVPs this game, just giving a solid backbone of armor sundering and AP and anti-large. So Orion's going in deep. He's going to go after some of the Shadow Warriors here. Just kicking over his Dryads as his giant hooves stamp through these forces, but it looks like he's opting to go after this group here. Ammunition for Zyphos is very low. Very, very low. What does he have left? And you can see here, Orion just getting taken to absolute town by those missiles. It's a lot of damage, but it's the deceiving thing about Orion is like his late game durability. Really nice Star of Avalorn. That was great. It hits the Princes, hits the Reavers, hits Alariel, but Orion comes in once again and forces her back. He's just an absolute terror in the night. Dryads are coming back in the distance. Shadow Warriors shooting in once again. Oh, that could be so good if the Shadow Warriors don't move. The Hounds of Mel Gibson diving amongst them, but unfortunately just clips the edge, but still does some okay damage. Zypho's basically circling the prey here. As far as ammo, he has pretty much a couple of volleys left on these guys, but not much. And of course he does have the Branch Wraith in combat, fighting the Shadow Warriors. A nice little Hawk's Talon coming in. And a big old Cav Alpha Strike. He's really trying to goon out Orion. And man, Zyphos is pulling the Balance of Power back. What an absolute scrap. Because, Wardens of Sithril aren't super tanky. They're lightly armored. Shadow Warriors have 38 melee attack. Also do magic damage because Alariel's nearby. So they're probably going to break the Wardens, honestly, the Shadow Warriors. And then it's going to be Mel Gibson versus the world. And he is unbreakable. So even with army losses, you have to kill Mel Gibson the old-fashioned way. The Branch Wraith is still here. Balance of Power is coming into Zyphos' favor, but remember, he causes terror as well. But, oh, that's so good. So, guys, Alariel has an item that gives immunity to psychology to all nearby units, if I'm not mistaken, or an ability called the Boon of Aisha. So, Mel Gibson in this situation would normally be terror routing off all these troops. Like, a lot of them would be running because he causes terror. But in this case, because Alariel is sitting nearby, they're all immune to psychology, which is probably going to give him the win here. So, Mel Gibson's very tanky. He's going strong. This has been a really fun game to watch. And look at him just lancing these guys down. So watch this. Mel Gibson will start healing soon. When he gets below a certain HP, you can see now he's healing and getting his ward save. So like it takes a long time to kill him. And the immunity to psychology from the Boon of Aisha, you guys can see it right here. So all these troops get magic damage and immune to psych. But if Lariel goes too far away for a moment, that could be really bad, and terror routes could go down. You can see for a moment she leaves, and these Dragon Princes get terror routed. So she charges in on Mel herself. He's down to 415. He's very low. The Branch Wraith is still here. But if she's not careful, he's going to get up and shank her. 459, he turns around. Gets a nice little shank right there. Oh! Is this going to be a Hawk's Talon? Oh, the Hounds of Mel Gibson leap among those forces, doing a ton of damage. And a Hawk's Talon is coming down right here as well. Brutal AoE damage coming in from Orion. Oh, look at that! It's just tearing through all these forces. And Mel Gibson is up to 118 kills, guys, and he's still healing. 602. Desperation here from the High Elves as Alariel charges in. And Mel Gibson, the master of the Wild Hunt, saying, no, no longer. I demand freedom. As he fights here. Now, Shadow Warriors are coming back in. Oh, this is bad. That's game, because now that she's gone, terror routes a mass. Oh my god, and the Wood Elves pull it out. What a legendary victory for Orion, the master of the Wild Hunts. That was so good. I can't believe it. Ammunition ran out, so the High Elves had to go in and fight. Oh, man. The AoEs. What a game. That one's going to be hard to top. So Rubber Duck of War is going to be tying for current leadership here. That was insane. Sorry, guys. I see the stream is dropping some frames here and there, but hopefully it's still, you guys are still able to catch the end of that battle. Sometimes my internet does that for a couple seconds, but I can't believe that. People are just yelling Scotland in chat. That's so good. All right, man. Never bet against the Azrai. Holy Karen King of the Woods. It's like the King of the North chant. So if you guys want to make a Rubber Duck of War very happy for that Mel Gibson performance, here is a link to his channel. He is a YouTuber, so you can go check him out. That is the gentleman who just played with Orion, so feel free to drop a subscribe to him. I'm sure he'd really appreciate that. All right. So next we have Maple Killer. So Maple Killer is up. Maple, no, he goes by a different name on here. Row. All right. Was surprised you broke, but Orion is mighty. That was a legendary game for sure. That was great. All right. We should make the next opponent fight on the Oak of Ages. Do Sword of Torgal next. And we'll see if Row is here. Join lobby. All right. That was quite legendary. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Mercy, serve freedom. Oh, man. Orion went straight Braveheart, except the ending was different. He didn't get, the business. He gave the business. That Mel Gibson's AoEs are what won the game, though. Like, because he used the Hounds, and then he used the Hawk's Talon, which just nuked all the Shadow Warriors. And, buckled them down. That was brutal. That was some brutal damage, for sure. And he was so low. But Orion's so hard to finish off. So let me make sure the next opponent here knows the details for the lobby. Multiplayer lobby in pass Turin, FFA do it. So we'll find out if you can't see the lobby. Sometimes people can't see lobby, so it gets a little bit treacherous. How are we doing on time? Okay, a little bit of lag on stream. Sorry about that, guys. It's just the internet fluctuating. It happens occasionally. Should be good now. Yeah, the kilobytes are skyrocketing all over the place, but hopefully it's not lagging too much for you guys. Spencer Roos, cheers for a great game. Thank you for the $4.99, man. Yeah, the Branch Wraith was also very healthy, and she does cause fear too, which means, Orion does, so it's kind of redundant. So his opponent will be joining here in a second. And we're going hard. So thank you guys all for your support again on stream today. It's been a really fun one. It was Orion doesn't break. He doesn't break. He's the master of the wild hunt. He goes hard. Sword of Torgal will be the next map. It's a very good multiplayer map. Yeah, Zyphos, that was a crazy good game, dude. Thanks for putting that show on. Well played. All right, 1 sec. He's going to check and see if he can see the lobby. Again, sometimes people in different zones and whatnot, it can be a bit of an issue. People message me today just saying blocker, even though I'm not, like, there's no blocker. Oh my god, I just checked. It's good to take a breather after that super fierce battle. Orion would defeat a steam tank for sure. Okay, he says he can't see the lobby. I just sent him a direct message. So I will add him on Steam. And we'll get it all squared away. Stupid Steam causing issues. Just all the drama. All right, here. He is going to send me the Steam ID and we'll get it all set up. Faust, thank you for the 2, man. Well played, Son of Sigmar. Great games earlier, and hopefully you're enjoying these battles. Orion would definitely defeat a steam tank in combat, 100%. He has AP anti-large. He's got good mass. Like he's you know, like I said, Orion isn't a bad lord, but he just gets overshadowed by the Glade Lords with snares and stuff. So we'll see if Ro Slane will send me his Steam ID or maybe a friend request. And see if that's popped up here. Checking. Nothing quite yet. And we could always come back to him too while he gets this set up. We'll see. Okay, so I will add him on Steam. Now he's on my Steam list, so should be able to find him. It's weird. Some people can see, some can't. It's just it's so dumb. I don't know why that happens. And he's Maple something from what I saw. Let's see if you can see it now. There we go. No, this is Kevin. I don't know if Kevin is the same guy. No known aliases. I don't think this is Maple. Kevin. It's just a wild Kevin joins. All right, let's see here. Hang on, let me see if that's actually him. Okay, he just left. He just guessed the password and then came in. The password's always like 123 or like something silly like that. So you should see now. Maple. All right. Sorry about the delay, guys. Invite to lobby. All right. Hey. So rubber picks and bands. He's gonna go Lizardman and band dwarfs. Okay, so maple pick now. And yeah, it's go time. Perfect. We're all set, my friends. Never forget Kevin. Kevin is a legend. Wild Kevin appears, so let him fight. He earned it. Oh, man. Maybe Kevin was the chosen one to delete the curse. But Kevin, we'll never know. It's the Kevin Sun Eater. And he's going with the Skaven. So, Maple Killer said he is new to this. So he may be a newer player, but we'll see what schemes he has. Again, the King of the Hills are open to the first 10 folks who usually join. I feel a sudden feeling of sorrow as Kevin disappears. Just angst and longing for what could have been. So we got Skaven versus Lizards. Maybe we'll see something super wild. No screen block. Oh, you guys want a Kevin screen blocker? And the actual Kevin messaged me. What a hero. He says, I was the random Kevin. Let me make sure he's in the Discord. We got to get Kevin in here. Little does he know, he's become quite a legend here. He was apologizing for causing a delay. I'm like, dude, no, you made the stream even better. All right, so we'll see what the Skaven pick. Rubber Duck of War, of course, Lizards, the classic duel. Sword of Torgald is here. Kevin is the Green Knight of chat. And good. So after this, we have one more player. We have Willow. And then if, Willow is able to win the match, basically, the King of the Hill will continue on. But if not, then the winner, if Rubber Duck of War is able to win his next two, for example, he would then just win the stream. With some very tough wins, for sure. Some scrappy ones. Man, that game with Zyphos there was a real scrappy one. Who doesn't love seeing a glorious Mel Gibson victory? A Rubber Duck of War. Best of luck, he says. Ready when you are. We'll see what Maple Killer decides to bring. Perhaps we'll see something wild. We do play these King of the Hills under the banner rules, or sometimes in the past we've done King's Cup. We basically use tournament rules for army limits. But again, it is a relatively casual format. So if there is like a slight break here and there, and it's not like, if it's like, oh, they brought one too many clan rats or whatever, like we can be chill about that. Yeah, so we'll see. Kevin is a great name for sure. Hopefully he's in stream, hanging out. And here we go. 1 gold left, he says. Oh man, is that a portent of doom for the Rubber Duck, or will the Rubber Duck of War claim victory on this King of the Hill stream? We will find out in the next episode. The Sword of Torgald calls. The classic duel between the Skaven and the Children of the Old Ones is upon us. The Maple Man said he was new. But again, is he playing possum? Is he letting his opponent think he's a noob so he can come in and just absolutely surprise him? You never know. I've had that happen to me on ladder where I play someone and they're like, oh, I'm really new and yeah, and this and that. And then I'm like, oh, I'll bring a casual meme build. And then they just, get you. They get you in the end. We will see. Kevin of the Hill. That's what the stream shall be called in the future, perhaps. All right, guys, here we are. So for the Skaven, we have a front line of Skaven slaves. Always a good choice, a good start for sure. We have Ikit Claw on his Doom Wheel, which I like. He has good mass. He can cause terror. He does have the Scorch and Warp Lightning. All right, so maybe he's just going to be going for those instead of summons, which is a bold strategy for sure. In the back, he does have Ikit Zap Zap Cannon, the Council Guard, I would imagine, for some anti-large armor piercing. 2 groups of Rattling Gunners, which is pretty heavy metal against some big dino threats. Rat Ogres for mass. Natty Bubo Sharpshooters, and a Hell Pit Abomination. Honestly, I like this build. I think it's quite good. The one, obviously, issue, of course, is Skaven without summons are a little bit suboptimal, but nonetheless, I think it's pretty strong. It's got some teeth, for sure. A lot of good focus fire. So, for example, if he can focus down some of the big dinos and whatnot, he can make his opponent pay the Troll Toll. 2 Ogres and a Hell Pit Abomination. Ikit Claw is always a threat. Warp Lightning can do some good damage against Saurus and infantry and bunched up units and all that. So it's pretty good. Now for the forces of a Rubber Duck of War, he's got Skinks and Saurus into the sunset, so going very wide, which is how you beat gun lines. He's got 2 Salamanders, actually, so Salamander hunting packs here, and the Umbral Tide, both of which are very choice targets for the Zap Cannon and Jezzails. He's got Krokar, old Crocky G, with the Hand of the Gods, as well as a Skink Priest of Beasts, getting ready to drop some juicy Manticore summons. We got Golden Riders in the back, and that is pretty much it. So a Salamander build. He's got 3 of these Salamanders, and I mean, Skaven have a ton of light armor for sure, but they have 125 range. Rattling Gunners do outrange them. They have 145. So, I mean, depending on the positioning, but the only concern here for the Skaven force is the flimsiness of their front line, and usually Skaven make up for that by using summons to buffer the front line, but in this case, you know, it's mainly just what you see is what you got. So we'll see if he can hold back the width of this build here and the mobility with the Skinks and the Cav. Good luck, have fun. Let us see if the Maple Killer, the Maple Man, I wonder if he's Canadian, is going to be able to upset the Rubber Duck of War, who's been on quite a run here. Some solid victories. So the battle will be underway here in a moment as both players ponder their future tactics. Good luck, have fun being dropped. Skaven Slaves ready to hold back valiantly. These rats, quite numerous, 135, 6,000 plus HP. 24 melee defense. I mean, Skaven Slaves are quite durable for the cost, if you really think about it. 24 melee defense on a chaff unit like that with that many models is pretty damn good. Warp Lightning Cannon is now probably going to be shooting at the Salamanders, I would imagine. Krokar is a good target, but Krokar can juke it, and Krokar also has a little bit of an alcove with which he can hide. He can like hide down here. So Krokar is probably just going to beeline for this little like lip right here and just hide. So Maple Killer definitely needs to get the Warp Lightning Cannon. See that? And it blocks it. He needs to start shooting at the Salamanders. But you can see here, Rubber Duck doing a really good job hiding. He's actually pulling them all back, which is smart. Just let all his infantry and his cav press up, and then when you're safe from the gunfire, the gunline units are compromised, that's when you push up with your cav units and your Salamanders. Or you could even go now. The red-crested Skinks here are going to make super quick work, but the Rattling Gunners actually, you know, teeing off and doing some decent damage against the Skinks, forcing them back. They don't do a lot of damage at maximum range, but once things get closer, they can really tee off and do a ton of work. So it is 2 Rattling Guns. A little bit of a misplay here. He's accidentally moving forward the Natty Boobo Sharpshooters because they're targeting something they can't see, so they're trying to get line of sight. This is a very common mistake. I've done this a million times, but this is the kind of thing that can cost you the game. So Ikit Claw here is going to be using a Scorch, and that is going to do really good damage. That was a great cast there by Maple Killer. Also, Krokar is getting very low, so now Ikit's going to be coming in here, and you can see now Maple notices that his gun lines are a little bit compromised, so he probably wants to pull in some Clan Rats, the Hell Pits, Ogres, to peel off these Saurus Warriors, because now the pressure is coming in. The Salamander hunting packs are going to be advancing. It looks like there's going to be some sort of a Manticore summon right here. Krokar is a little bit beat up, and honestly, he's taking huge damage there from those Warp Lightning Cannons. Ikit Claw, I believe, is right here, and man, Ikit's getting roasted by those Salamanders. Absolute firing squad right here. And he's down very, very low as the Golden Riders do charge in, and Krokar comes in and just absolutely just teabags Ikit Claw. Like, he is not enjoying that at all. So here you can see the Rattling Gunners and other missile pieces are falling back. The Clan Rats have been sent in, the Hell Pit's been sent in, and the Council Guard are surging forward. And Ogres are going to be the last bastion of mass here. Now maybe, just maybe, if these Rattling Gunners can blast Samurai Krokar here and take him out, that would be something that could get them back in the game. Currently, I think it's a little bit tough for the Skaven. Of course, the Council Guard will be able to fend off this Manticore. Ikit Claw might come back. He still has 759 HP. But, I mean, the Rat Ogres are only going to hold for so long. These Rattling Gunners need to be shooting Krokar, but they're going after the Saurus, which isn't a bad idea either, considering the Warp Lightning Cannon is shooting Krokar and getting some really good damage, and there is no healing in this Lizard army. On the far side, we have Ogres and Skaven Slaves being overwhelmed by Golden Riders. These Rattling Gunners are doing a decent job shooting into the back of these Saurus Warriors, but there's just Lizards everywhere. I mean, the cohort of Sotex coming in, this is where, like, he misses the summons. Having summons is so good to just, like, hold back different angles of pressure. Warp Lightning Cannon, I'm not sure where it's moving. I think it's moving up to try and shoot against Krokar, but Krokar's in pretty good shape, and this is where, you know, even though the balance isn't horrible yet, it's worse than it appears because the Skaven gunline is running instead of shooting. But maybe if they can get back online, if, you know, the Feral Manticore obviously gets pushed off here by the Council Guard, and Ikit Claw is back, he could come and tear out off these Skinks right here, which would potentially salvage this Warp Lightning Cannon, which has been doing a really good damage here. I mean, Krokar is very, very beat up. This is a smart play from Rubber Duck too. Like, running back behind here and hiding is very, very good. That's very clever. But now the Salamanders are in range of pretty much everything. They're going to absolutely nuke this Sap Cannon here. Here comes the Salamander firepower, the raw might of this fully operational Salamander core. Some of the shots shooting in, going after the Rattling Gunners and just melting them. The fire, of course, has some pretty good explosion damage. Plus, the second Manticore has been summoned here. Ikit Claw going to be going in, and obviously probably will get an immediate tear out here on the Skinks. It'll be pretty quick. Yeah, I mean, they should tear out. They're wavering, and there's a tear out right there. Rattling Gunners are being chased down by Saurus Warriors, and the Feral Manticore is also hunting down Ikit. And also the Salamanders, oh, the firepower coming in, and the mad Inventor Rat Ikit Claw is roasted by the Umbral Tide pressure. And well played. You know, he's playing a very, very good opponent here, and put up a good fight. I mean, he almost killed Krokar, had some good pressure. I always love that. He goes up in an actual nuke like that. That's such a cool thing. Like, those little touches are what makes the game so, like, cool. Council Guard's still fighting here, but alas, the Dinos width and their patience with the Salamanders, and basically just, yeah, the Salamanders roasted Ikit Claw. And the magic for the Skaven wasn't terribly effective. I think that was something that was tough. With more summons, I think he could have been able to hold back more of the Saurus by summoning Plague Monks and things like that. And obviously having Lieber, he might have been able to kill Krokar. I do like the Ikit choice, but if you're going to go with Ikit against Lizards, I think you need to get a Plague Furnace as well to summon some rats and Mortis Engine down some of the big threats. But I did like the build. I thought Maple's build was cool, and he put up a great fight. So well played. Rubber Duck is on the verge of victory here. He has one more opponent in Willow, who of course had a very, very good run on the last stream. But if he beats Willow, he wins the stream. If he loses, then Willow plays until he loses, and that will be it. We have, of course, people ready to stand by and do that whole business, but we'll see how that goes. Here comes Croc, the big Croc, and it's very cool to see Rubber Duck use these lords you don't see often, like Krokar and Orion. Make them work. And the last of the Council Guard being beaten and bludgeoned here by the skink cohorts with their little cudgels. And the Saurus warriors and whatnot. So down goes the Council Guard. The children of the old ones emerge victorious over the rats. Well played to both players. That was a great game. Great game indeed. But yeah, I definitely would recommend using the rat summons against the lizard rushes. Well, I liked his build though. His build was good. It was good. So Rubber Duck is 3 right now, so he's the current leader. And let's go ahead and get this. Rubber Duck with 3. Rubber Duck of War is here, and now we have Willow. Willow, you're up. All right. Let's pull this up. GG. Well played. So, if Rubber wins this, he wins the stream. But nonetheless, if Willow beats him, he still has to beat the 3. So for this, we'll put these 2 fine lads on... put them on Skilled, just a complete troll of a map. Not the Runes Paradon. River Amazon's a good one. So Rubber, pick, and ban. See how this goes. It's closed at the moment, but please join Discord to get in next one. I'll probably do King of the Hills like twice a week. I think something like that could be good. Rubber Duck of War, you can play the same faction. Rubber. I don't think Rubber Duck of War knows he can play the same faction in King of the Hill. Yes. Because in the beginning, you know, Tank picked Vampires 3 games in a row, so you can. It's totally fine. It is literally the rubber match. All right, so we got a couple donations coming in. Sorry I missed them. I was busy organizing things. Daniel Hammer, thank you for the 50 DKK. He says, the first time I've ever paid on a YouTube stream. This one goes out to all the Kevins out there. Kevin, stay strong. You are not forgotten. And thank you so much, Daniel, for honoring Kevin's memory here. We have Whoa Dude for donating $5. Remember to like the stream, folks. It's what Kevin would want. Dude, I agree. Kevin's here for us all. Faust, thank you for the $2. Just says Kevin. That's that. All right, guys. I hope he's on the stream. Something in stream chat. I told Kevin to come join you guys in stream if he's not already there. Oh, he's here. He says, I am the Kevin. He's become a legend. All right, let me send him a link. No, stream's good. It'll come back. Don't worry, guys. Come on, stream, fight. I know you can. Oh, good. We're good. All right, we're back. No. No, don't crash. All right, so we'll make sure the stream's back before we start this last game. I am become Kevin, Destroyer of Worlds. Saved. I think we're good. Video output is low. Hopefully it'll all stay together on one video. Okay. Okay, we didn't lose the stream overall. I think we're good. It's still kind of bouncing around. I don't know what's going on. Our internet provider is such a troll. I think Kevin, you guys say Kevin came in and destroyed the world, but I think he's the reason the stream didn't crash completely. Chris Fagan says, keep up the great streams, man. Your content is the only thing getting me through my exams. Kevin, don't worry. Kevin's here for you. Chris, I'm here for you as well. We're doing it. All right. We're doing it. Oh, man. So this is it. This is potentially the last game of the stream. We have a Rubber Duck of War who's currently on a 3 victory. Oh, no, it's a different map. Different map. River Amazon is the map. So it looks like we have a Sartosa pick from Willow. No way, he picked Sartosa. Stream is good. We just had a temporary outage, but we're good now. It should get us through. We're good. Oh man, this has been a fun one today, guys. Yeah, I think we're stable. I think we're all good. Oh no, I see it trolling about again. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I need to lower the bitrate, but I think it's just my internet service provider being a dildo, just sucking. Yeah. So we'll wait till it stabilizes before we start the game. It seems like the stream isn't going to crash outright, but we'll let them pick. Good luck, have fun. And if you guys could, let me know in chat the quality, if it's like lagging right now or if there's like a delay. Please do let me know. Kevin is both the destroyer and the savior. On stream. So, hang on, guys. We're holding on. Hopefully this lag will pass. It's like you just can't win. Man, what I would do for like steady internet service. I see it like struggling, the dropping some rates, some frames here and there. Looking good to you? All right. It's kind of like I can see the little meter struggling. So I'll probably give it a minute to wait for it to stabilize at just like pure green, because it kind of gives me an indicator of my bitrate. Yeah. Yeah, and Chris Fagan, thank you so much again for the donation, man. Hopefully your exams go well and college is good. The Kevin meme will never die. One sec. He's coming. I just gave him a link to the stream, so he's going to come join you guys now. All right, I think we're good. I think the bitrate is more or less stable. Yep, looks good to me. Okay. Good. It should all be on one video now, which is solid. Yeah. All right, guys, players are almost ready. Looks like they're both ready, so we're going to load into this game here, guys, and let it begin. So if Willow wins this with Sartosa, so he picked Sartosa, which is a sub-faction of Vampire Coast. If he wins this, then the stream continues, and he will keep playing until he loses to have a chance to win, of course, because otherwise it's silly. The last person would never have a chance. But if a Rubber Duck of War, who's on a 3-game winning streak, wins this, he'll get 4 wins, and he will win the stream. With glorious victories across the board, using Croc-Gar, using Mel Gibson. I mean, things have been absolutely wild. I'm going to double check, make sure there's no drama here with the screen blocker and all that good stuff. And we'll do it. All right. He's here somewhere. We are him. Oh, man. There's a really tiny buzz in the buzz/beep in the background of your stream sound. Huh. I wonder what that is. Is anybody else hearing that? Like a background beeping or something in the stream? Protocol said he heard something. There shouldn't be, unless there's some sort of an issue with my audio, but it's probably about time I tidied up my PC and everything. All right, check one more time. All right. And I see the bitrate trolling about a little bit. All right, guys, so here we are. The final battle for the fate of this stream. Willow 6669 coming in with the rock hard Sartosa build. It's got Sartosa Free Company here in the front line. In the secondary, we do have Queen Bess. All right, so we got Queen Bess. We have Aranus Assault Spite on foot. And she's actually not bad against dinos. Anti-large, armor piercing. She has a net. We have the Shade Wraith Gunners, Queen Bessie. We have the Black Spot, and we have Halberds into the Sunset. So it's a very defensive build here. Oh, the Lamprey's Revenge being the high mass unit to try and stop the dinos from pushing through. Now, what I'm really curious to see is how effective the Shade Wraith Gunners are at shooting down things like salamanders. He does also have a gunnery wipe for extra powder, which is really going to round out this build. And also, guys, he is not using Lore of Nehekara. Rather, this Madman Willow is using the Lore of the Deep. So he has Tidecall, Denizens of the Deep, and Fog of the Damned. Oh man, this is exciting. This is really exciting here. This is a great build. What champs these players are. And now for the dinos, let's take a look here. We have Skinks and Saurus in the front with a couple of red-crested boys to deal with depth guard. In the back, we do, of course, have the Umbral Tide. More salamanders here. We have the Ark of Sotek. Not to be outdone in the meme game, he comes in with the dreaded Ark of Sotek. And it looks like Coldland Spear Riders in the distance as well. And for his Lord choice, he does, of course, have a Gorok. And a Skink Priest of Beasts. Very, very cool list. Good luck, have fun, let's do this. Maybe the beeping you're hearing is like actually the birds outside, because it's kind of spring here now, so the birds are enjoying themselves. So the battle's underway here. We do, of course, have the Shade Wraith Gunners with pretty good range. I actually like Deck Gunners. I need to start using them more, but Shade Wraith Gunners are very fun. And you can see our Enhanced Ballistics is being used, so Queen Bessie and the Shade Wraith Gunners get a massive boom to their accuracy. And the first shot going in, and square impact, taking out 6 Saurus Warriors and doing some huge HP damage. That's really good. Umbral Tide does, of course, have one mistake I think the Coast is making here is not advancing up, because it creates, there's less distance that the lizard units need to get in range here of Queen Bess. Like scooting up creates more of a buffer. Nonetheless, though, Bessie's doing some huge damage, and the Shade Wraith Gunners are now going to be just shooting into these skinks and doing some decent damage. They also have a Discourage, so it does tank the leadership of the unit they're shooting. But I would imagine as soon as they see the Umbral Tide, they're going to want to start shooting into those bad boys. So you can see they're switching now. They see the massive emergence here of this lizard force, and they're going to start shooting into the salamanders. And yeah, you can see the Umbral Tide is now visible, so Shade Wraith Gunners probably going to go just tee off into these guys right here, which is smart. Aside from that, like, salamanders are a pretty big threat to this army. There's a lot of big targets that are weak to fire, including Lamprey's Revenge. So Lamprey's Revenge could get Shrek'd, but Shade Wraith Gunner is doing some huge damage here to the Umbral Tide. But from here, Lamprey's Revenge need to fall back. That fire damage, of course, I mean, a lot of it will be mitigated by their armor. But yeah, he needs to be very careful with those guys. But man, look at this. Queen Bess going into the salamanders as well as the Shade Wraith Gunners and just decking them. And here comes a Crab Summon. So there's going to be a Crab Summon in the front, which is going to probably let the Sartosa Free Company win that fight. So far, the Vampire Coast firepower just destroying this Lizard Onslaught. And you can see here the cohort of Sotek just getting nuked. The Pirates are just doing great in the front line. Obviously, they'll trade pretty effectively with Skinks. And Aranessa really hasn't gotten her hands dirty yet. And also the Crab Summons over there doing some solid work as well. But the dreaded Ark of Sotek comes forth. A torrent of fire pouring into this poor lizard. And release the snakes, he says. Ark of Sotek, I'm sure, will release a horde of snakes here in a moment. I'm waiting for it. Come on. Come on, Rubber Duck. Do it. Fog of the Damned going down, which is a Lore of the Deep spell people just don't know about. But it does lower leadership. And you can see the Ark of Sotek's getting tanked. And honestly, the Vampire Coast is in a very, very dominant position right here early in the game. Saurus being forced back and Skinks being forced back by the Pirates as well as the Crab Summons. The Manticore Summon is going to go back here and try and take out Queen Bessie, which is very, very smart. But the Ark of Sotek being pushed back like that is quite devastating. And now the Deckhand Mob Polearms have moved into combat, as have the Lamprey's Revenge. Granted, they are fighting an anti-large, armor-piercing Cav unit here. Still not a bad situation. So the Ark of Sotek completely shattered. Shade Wraith Gunners just blasting, just decking right here, doing huge work. And Cold One Knights are charging into the back. There are Halberds protecting this, but Queen Bess could potentially get crumbled down here. And if this like center massive Vampire Coast gunline units get compromised here, that could be enough to get the Lizards back in the game. Granted, the bounce power is a little bit falsely inflated here by the summons from the dinos, but I would say the dinos are doing a very good job scrapping back into this battle. The Lamprey's Revenge falling is big, and from there, this entire gunline center mass is really going to be in huge trouble. Another Crab Summon going down, so Willow does summon some crabs, and he is going to be chasing down the salamanders, which is a good play. And Aranessa is in a duel here versus Gorok, and Gorok will definitely beat Aranessa in a duel. Aranessa is more of an anti-large character, and the Deepcaster is, yeah, she's definitely not singing any Adele songs here. She is indeed running. Might be able to stabilize, but at the very least she did get some crab summons off. But Gorok, as well as that Manticore summon, really putting a ton of pressure here. But you can see Gorok is being targeted. Shade Wraith Gunners might be able to rip a couple shots into him as well, and the Salamanders in the back are being pushed back as well. You can see they're running from the crab summons, and the Lamprey's Revenge have stabilized. Is the Vampire Coast going to be able to hold this? Maybe so. Shade Wraith Gunners could fall back here. Queen Bessie is still operational, although Aranessa does get pounded out. Aranessa gets taken out by Gorok and the Manticore summon. Manticore summon will disappear, and if it does before it finishes her, that would actually be really big. But Gorok's also taking massive damage from the firepower. Aranessa does get clipped by the Manticore, but the Manticore is now gone. In a couple seconds, it'll disappear. And a 3, and a 2, and... Oh no, that was only the first tier! Oh man, that Manticore is still going, but Gorok really taking a holy hammering right here from the black spot. Those guys hit really hard. Plus, also the Gunnery White is shooting Gorok and doing huge damage. Queen Bess still ripping shots downtown. I would imagine Bessie is going after... let's see where Bessie's going. Going after the Salamander still. Poor Salamander's just getting nuked by Queen Bess all game. But the Vampire Coast core is still pretty strong, and the fact that Aranessa is still alive is really bad, because she could come back and drop a net on something, which would be quite impactful. Lamprey's Revenge still going. No Invocation of Nehek in this build, so what damage you see on the coast is what you get. And also, you have to remember, the Gunnery White is very strong, and you can see here the Gunnery White plus the black spot was able to put huge damage in. Oh, Queen Bessie with the short-range nuke taking out those Cold One Spear Riders. Brutal damage coming in. And here, Gorok runs for the hills. And guys, it looks like Willow, once again, is going to be coming in with the upset and taking out the King of the Hill. Now, if Willow loses his next game, Rubber Duck still wins the stream. But again, if Willow's able to tie the 3, it's certainly up for grabs. So I'll have to go into my list of players here, because I don't think the Lizards have a chance at this point. Queen Bessie being here, Aranessa coming back is really big. She probably has a net. The Shade Wraith Gunners are still functional. The Black Spot still has a ton of ammo. There's just too much. I mean, maybe the Salamanders might be able to come back, but man, they got nuked by those Shade Wraith Gunners, which was so fun to see them in action. You like rarely see those guys. And that is going to be GG. Man, what a scrap. Gorok coming in, but Aranessa surviving with Lore of the Deep to boot. That was so fun. Gorok running for the hills. The last of the skinks holds, but that is going to be a victory for Willow. Man, so Willow's the current King of the Hill. So Willow will now play until he loses. The stream continues. You can thank the Pirates of Sartosa for that. You can thank the Pirates of Sartosa. All right, so the current leader is now going to be Willow. And Willow scores 1. The current leader is still a Rubber Duck of War. Willow's going to have to win the next couple games here. Willow defied a god. Oh, man. So let me go ahead here and check. So if we scroll up here, the first person was Lycus. All right, so we'll ping Lycus. So we'll see if he's here. Lycus was the first person to ask after the King of the Hill initial signups closed. And then after Lycus, let me go ahead and scroll up. We had Lycus. Then we had, it looks like Decoli was next. Unless, well, no, Professor Pone didn't, I'm not sure if he wanted to play, but yeah, Professor Pone was next actually after Lycus. Then we had Decoli. Then we had Grumbrindle, or no, Random Nix. Hadries, and it looks like Undertaker. All right, so let's see if he's here. Oh, he is here. My arch rival, he says. Yeah. Oh, they're in chat together right now. These guys were chatting together. That's really funny. Not Runes of Paravon. We'll do the... You know, let's do the Glacial Lake. I love Glacial Lake. It's one of my favorite maps. It's like one of the first ones I ever played, so it has a soft spot here. So Willow, pick and ban 1. Lycus says he won the last game, so that's a grudge match here. All right. Good. The Kevin is here. He is indeed. An interview with the divine, it would appear. Look, is there a cult? Is there a cult forming on my stream? Well, I guess that's nice. So we have Willow picking Dawi and banning Skaven. Very smart, because that's like the one unwinnable matchup for dwarves if you're playing an equally skilled opponent. And Lycus is now on the pick. We are on Glacial Lake, which has a nice, depending on which side the dwarves are on, it has a nice little ravine they can use to turtle up on. And Lycus is going to pick. So we'll see what we get. Kevin's probably immune to psychology. You could ask him. He's here. He is here indeed. All right, guys. So the current King of the Hill is Rubber Duck. Willow is currently challenging for that position. He'll have to win 3 games to win the stream. And we got Greenskins versus Dwarves. We have a good old grudge match. Now, if Lycus wins, the stream is over. And the winner will be a Rubber Duck of War. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. That poor Ark of Sotek just got blasted. And, man, I have to say, that game inspired me to use Shade Wraith Gunners. I've been neglecting them for a long time, but they're a really cool unit. And they do have that ethereal ward save, so they're kind of hard to kill, actually. So Glacial Lake is on. Very well played by all the players who've played today so far. It's been quite good. The lag has subsided. The blessings are upon us, it would appear. Yeah, Rubber Duck had some excellent games, too, for sure. The Orion game was quite epic. So Greenskins vs. Dwarves is an interesting one. It used to be very heavily dwarf favored, but with the introduction of some of the characters, plus some changes and whatnot to like gyros and that was a ways back, but like gyrocopters are really strong here. Steam cannons are very powerful, and of course using like Ironbreaker boxes with like Gotrek and Felix is really powerful. There's like a ton of ways to play it. I have a couple of Greenskin builds that I think are pretty strong here. I really like using like Haggard Rock Lobbers and like a bunch of Wolf Rider Archers to chase down the gyros, and then Azag up in the sky to Buna down Ironbreakers. There's some really strong builds for Greenskins and for Dwarves. So it's a matchup I very much enjoy. So we will see what happens. These two guys apparently are friends. It's the Obi-Wan Anakin situation all over again. And we are on the Glacial Lake. Let it begin. Let it begin. Thank you guys all so much for joining today. It's been a really fun stream. I'm going to try and do King of the Hills twice a week. Maybe like Mondays and Fridays or something. I'll do King of the Hills, and I don't know, at least twice a week. We'll try and figure out a schedule, because it seems like a format people enjoy, and it's pretty fun. And people get to use meme builds and serious builds. You get a combination of both, which I think is very fun. So maybe we'll try and do King of the Hill streams twice a week. And yeah, we'll do it that way. Then of course on weekends we'll save it for like the bigger streams, like the ECLs and the faction wars and stuff like that. Faction War this month will probably be towards the end of the month, because, again, I'm trying to get the ECL finished. So the Faction War will follow in suit. Get that going. And, of course, ECLs, Eternal Challenger Leagues, are always scheduled to go whenever there's a new DLC or something new like that. A new one starts. So basically the next ECL will start whenever there's a DLC. However long that might be, we will see. Lycus is ready. Willow 6669 getting ready as well. Very solid performance so far here, with the good old Pirates of Sartosa coming in with the deep. Man, the Vampire Coast sea shanty is so good. They really nailed it. Like that, I think that was one of the most exciting DLCs simply because of that song. And of course, Vampire Pirates, come on, it's like hard to beat that, but zombies with guns, like, come on. I hope that when Games Workshop brings back Warhammer Fantasy, which they are in a couple of years, I hope that they add Vampire Coast as a playable faction, like in honor of this game, and like that would be so cool. Man, I would play that in a heartbeat. I really hope they do, because Warhammer Fantasy is coming back, and when it does come back, guys, I will cover the hell out of it on my channel. Like everything will be covered. Battle reports, tactics, like it's going to be great. Bune over Purple Sun, blasphemy. Yeah, Purple Sun is great too. I mean, it can really wreck dwarf boxes pretty hard. Like, it has more overall damage potential, because if it goes the right way, it can just like annihilate boxes. But Bune is more like consistent, but yeah, Purple Sun is really epic, Romulan. I agree, dude. I agree, my friend. Oh, just stretching the old arms out, the old man arms, racked with tendonitis and other afflictions. All right, here we go. Showtime. It is showtime. Let them come. Oh, I'm loving this greenskin build. I'm liking it. So if we look at here, he has rock lobbers to break dwarven boxes.